I have to talk about these text messages. I can't help it. What do you want from me? What do you want from me? I'm only human. These are extraordinary in like the creepiest way imaginable. I usually don't like to do the same type of content back to back, and yesterday I covered some text messages as well, but I can't resist the urge. It calls out to me, the void beckons, and I have to speak on these. So, the context. A lady had an old coworker whom had been fundamentally stalking her for quite some time. Her and her husband had dealt with this individual for a while, and decided to share some of the unhinged messages that they had been sent by him. There was a lot more that happened besides these text messages, but that's what was shared and what I want to go over. Buckle your seatbelt here, because this is about to be a pretty intense ride. This is a good read from cover to cover, if you like lunacy. Hey, I hope your weekend has started nicely. I apologize it took me a few days to feel like I could say this. No need to apologize, goober. I get it. Had to muster up the courage here. Hype yourself up in the mirror so that you could really let the demon out. You need to break up with blank, and then agree to be my girlfriend, with intentions to be my wife. And let me explain why. So he's basically acting like a car salesman here, trying to drive the hard bargain. It's like an episode of Shark Tank. I'm seeking a wife for 10% equity in my cock. I have no doubt he also had a PowerPoint presentation prepared for this, but unfortunately maybe it didn't attach, so it didn't send. I can provide more for you than he can. The independent woman facade you engage in wouldn't be necessary with me. I make more than enough money in my job in order to take care of you and provide you with a lakefront house, which I know is a desire of yours. I can provide you the free time that you often post about and yearn for to engage in your favorite hobby, ceramics. All I ask for you is your devotion in return. I know I am perhaps not physically desirable to you, which is why I plan to compensate with the lifestyle you often talk about wanting to provide yourself. You can really feel the fedora through these messages. It smells of such potent desperation. It's also very interesting that he calls attention to not being physically desirable to her. It's an interesting negotiation tactic. Excuse me, madam. I know you may not be physically attracted to me, but here's how I can make up for my face looking like turbo ass. I know if you could be given an opportunity, you would take it because you mostly desire to be able to experience freedom in life. It is something painful for me knowing you could have everything you wanted if you would simply agree to be my wife in the future. I could also pay off your student loans and car loan, which I know you've expressed desire to have those completed in the next 6 years. I could do that today, with a simple call to your loan companies. All I need from you is to immediately move to my property and begin your new life with me. Jesus Christ, that is concerning. I can pay off all of this. Just come join my cult. And I promise I am not a rapist or a creep. Nothing screams good guy quite like needing to clarify that you are neither a rapist nor a creep. I mean, would he lie to you, right? I mean, that's what a normal person says, like, by the way, miss, I am neither rapist nor creep, so you should feel safe around me. Now come live on my property immediately. I am not going to imprison you, or shackle you, or enslave you to a basement. Well, breath of fresh air. I was a little concerned about that, but now, luckily, he explained it. Now there's no reason to feel alarmed anymore about that being a possibility. You are free to continue your friendships with your womanly friends and your relationships with your family. I would never take this from you. I would never force you into sexual situations you do not want to be in. I know it must sound so strange hearing this, but I feel I must make it clear to you that this is a dream opportunity that will not harm you in any capacity other than dropping your current life, boyfriend, and job, and immediately begin pursuing your hobbies while we plan our wedding. I've got a sneaking suspicion that this guy would absolutely shackle her and imprison her in the basement. But I imagine she wouldn't be alone down there. There's probably quite a few other victims that he has in that basement. This is a fucking unhinged creep. Now, it's important to mention that this isn't just some random person sending a bunch of nonsense. This is a very credible threat to the safety of this woman. So, according to the husband, they had been dealing with this individual for quite some time. And they even went to court over it. There's a lot that this individual has done, aside from just these creepy messages. And it had been a huge problem for them for a while. This is a really dangerous person to be around. I hope you're not overwhelmed. I know we have not spoken very much in the last 6 years we've known each other. I've always known you were supposed to be mine as soon as I met you on March 3rd, 2018. He's got that shit marked in his calendar as the most important day of his life. I've never once inserted myself into your life. I haven't pestered you for your phone number, and we have an occasional chat on Facebook now that we're not in the same office anymore. I've been satisfied with this level of acquaintanceships for years, and I understand that you have been with blank since 2012. I understand you were committed to him prior to us meeting, but blank, you must agree that we have something special. We share so many interests, and we were always able to have great natural conservation. When we would attend lunch together during the workday, it was an effortless and relaxing experience to share those 40 minutes with you once or twice a week. And don't think I forgot how often you paid for yourself, a trait I knew was you trying to assert your independence in front of me. Oh, the delusion. Oh, the delusion is sickening. That's an example of something I've talked about quite a bit on stream, where no matter what, there are people that will view things in an entirely different lens that make no sense. Something as simple as her buying lunch for herself was interpreted, misconstrued by this fucking menace as her trying to assert her independence in front of him. So it's just like this honestly scary situation where something totally innocent, like just buying yourself lunch, has now completely been lost in the sauce of this dude's noodle, where he thinks it was all about him. It's so weird. I knew then you were trying to show me that you'd love for someone to take care of you. I'm ready to settle into a family-oriented life, and I recall you saying you would have children if you had the financial capital to do so. I know you desire to be a mother, despite your current male partner not wanting them. You would make a wonderful mother to our children. I would ensure you had everything you needed to live the family life of your dream. Wow, I just had a voice crack. That was a big voice crack, too. This man's serial killer stalker Riz just attacked my vocal folds. And I know you love to travel. Before we settle down with children, I want to take you to your dream destination list. I've kept track of all the places you've mentioned over the last few years that you'd like to visit. You always share such a beautiful landscape photos. He's like the Zodiac killer here. I bet if this wasn't over Facebook Messenger or whatever, it would have been sent via postage, letters in the mail, using cutouts from magazines for the letters. I want to take you to Japan, to Thailand, to New Zealand, to Greece. Yah! It's like that classic one. Oregon. Yah! Fucking the Dean scream. And after that, we'll go to the opal mines in Australia for your dream ring, and then I'll take you to all the waterfalls the islands have to offer. How does this sound? My proposition is serious. You know I am a serious man. I'm turning 45 years old this year, and you are turning 32 years old. It's time to start making decisions about our familial life and how to enjoy our remaining years. Please know I have never offered any woman this proposition. I have a very secure career that I enjoy and will do whatever it takes to maintain in order to have your companionship, sexual prowess, and motherly raising of our children. I will give you everything you desire, as long as you agree to be my wife and raise our children. A very strong negotiation overall. I wonder how she'll respond to this in the Shark Tank. Hey, blank. I wanted to acknowledge that I received your message. It's really long though, so give me a minute to read and respond. That feels more like she's very afraid and is doing this out of pure obligation, like buying time, to figure out how to handle this without setting this guy off on like some kind of rampage, like this violent outburst, which is smart on her part for sure, to like very gently navigate this, because it's a scary situation having a stalker like this. Good morning. I am still awaiting your acceptance of my proposal. I look forward to hearing from you. Oh god, he's dropping the hammer now. It's all business, and he's not taking no for an answer. Good morning, goofball. I'm going to be perfectly honest. I don't know how to respond to this. I don't mean this negatively, but I honestly don't know whether or not to take this seriously. What I mean by that is I don't know if this is a joke or not. You said this is quite out of left field, so I'm not exactly sure how to respond to you. This proposition is very serious. I have to make serious considerations about my familial life as I'm ready to establish this. I know I can offer you much more than your boyfriend can. It has been 10 years, and he still has not provided you with those things you desire most. I am a better provider than he is, and I will ensure your needs are met. Please, I would appreciate you taking this seriously and giving me a date and time I can come collect your items and move you into my house. It's in northern blank. This guy is already convinced that it's a yes, and now he's just trying to figure out when he should schedule the college hunks hauling junks to come collect all of her shit to move in with him. So now she fully responds to this. Surely you have to understand I can't agree to something like this. My life is my life because I've built it this way. I am not a damsel waiting to be rescued. While yes, I would enjoy an easier path to achieving the lifestyle I want, I don't mind working for it, and frankly, I'm insulted that you perceive my career to be a choice I'm settled to because I have not found the right man. Most importantly, it's another level of egotistical to assume I would dump an 11-year relationship in an instant for a fantasy pipe dream of yours. I mean this seriously. I'm not interested in your proposition. Trading my life for materialistic items and to be breed mare is not something I ever intended to do with my time. I don't know you. You don't know me. You have a limited glimpse into my life through my social media posts. What you see online represents a fraction of who I am as a person. We were co-workers and nothing more. I made this very clear to you in the years we worked together. I was in my relationship prior to even working with you. Yes, you're right, you never crossed that boundary, but instead you spent the last 6 years building a fantasy and dream life in your mind in which you think I would trade my value as a human being for a lake house and free time for pottery. I'm not sure how you became convinced this would be enough to make me leave the life I have built, but I need to assure you it's not. Please do not ask me this again. I am not interested, nor will I ever be interested in being your wife and child bearer. So she lets it all hang out here. She pulls no punches. She sets the record straight and says it right to his face. Well, as close to his face as anyone will ever come through text messages here. Breedmare. Now, there's no need to insult me. I am not propositioning you to live in solitude and to raise children alone. I want a family. I want you to be my wife, specifically, and I want to build a family with you. I thought you were intelligent enough to understand how great of an offer this is. Buddy, she is intelligent enough to recognize that her life would be in danger saying yes to you, you absolute maniac. You fucking weirdo. She is extremely smart to say no to this, as pretty much everyone on the planet with any level of survival instincts would. You're weird, you're dangerous, you're creepy, you're a stalker. Everyone's going to be saying no to you. I know you're primarily saying no because you don't find me physically attractive. If I looked better than your boyfriend, I have no doubts you would emphatically tell me yes. I didn't know you were so shallow. Oh, now he's going full nice guy mask off mode, even though he wasn't really putting up a nice guy persona in the first place. You would learn to be physically attracted to me just as I learned to be physically attracted to you after you gained 60 pounds. You look much better when you are staying in the 150 to 200 pound range, yet I never said a word to you about the fact that you gained so much weight because I realized you were perfect otherwise. I realized your looks didn't matter when your soul is what I wanted to spend time with. He probably wants to suck her soul out of her body like Shang Tsung. Like, this is a threat to her life, and she is absolutely making the right call, trying her best to get away from this guy and shut it down as hard as possible. It is simply a trade for a house and free time. Oh, the barter method, of course. I am offering you the very thing you constantly talked about and post about, the freedom to enjoy your existence without stress and anxiety. There would be more stress and anxiety with you because you are actually dangerous. It'd be a constant, guessing game of whether or not she's going to survive through the night under your roof. This guy is fucking scary. And he makes it seem like so simple. Simply in return, we are married and have a family together. Yeah, I mean, that's small potatoes. That's nothing. That's no big deal. It's a great trade. You get a house and you get the weirdest man in the world. A win-win. You would learn to love it because our home together would be so peaceful and joyful. However, perhaps you're right, and you are not the woman I thought you were. You're attracted to a low-life loser who filed bankruptcy at 25, hid his credit card debt from you. You pay his bills while he job hops because he doesn't know how to stay at a job for longer than a year. You cried constantly at work and had panic attacks not knowing where the money was going to come from. And what did you do? You worked a second and third job to make ends meet while he piddled away at putting in applications and not manning up to do what he needed to do. Why are you choosing this weak boy over me? I am mature, career-oriented, family-oriented, and I am a devoted partner. I would never force you into a position to make up for my shortcomings like your boyfriend does. I am better than him in every way, and yet you still choose him. It is baffling to me why young women like yourself want to be with the losers and drug dealers who will end up beating you silly. Keep in mind, this is coming from the same worm, the same specimen, who had to assure her he's not a rapist and wouldn't imprison her and shackle her. I think this guy is the one that most likely would beat a woman silly, because he has all of the red flags you could possibly fucking imagine about a man. I'm going to fast forward through the second paragraph meltdown here, which is just a teary-eyed tantrum with him shaking his fist saying, I thought you were different. You must stay with him for his penis size, because I can't even begin to understand how someone as intelligent as you are would turn down my offer. A luxury life free of stress turned down for a life of second-guessing and financial strain? Why? What good reason do you have to turn down my offer? He immediately goes to wiener size. just another huge insecurity here. So I'm guessing not only is he physically appalling, but he also has a tiny cock. She says, I'm not even going to entertain that message with a response. I don't owe you any explanation about why I'm still with my boyfriend even after all his shortcomings. I don't owe you an explanation on anything, ever. I've been wondering all evening what it could possibly be about me that you're so repulsed by that you won't accept the offer of a lifetime. Yeah, it's such a mystery. What about this perfect gentleman here and scholar would she find repulsive? I'm racking my brain and I got nothing. I have no idea. What could she possibly not like about him? He's such a doll. My friends are also appalled. Why aren't you accepting this? Yeah, I'm sure he has so many friends. He contacts all his friends. He's like, guys, she won't just give up her life and move in with me. What's wrong with this bitch, huh? What's going on? Is she crazy? She's crazy, right? It's not me. I'm not the problem, right? I didn't think so. It's definitely her. It's everything you have ever wanted, and you're turning it down still? Why? You owe me an explanation after I spent years ensuring I had enough to offer you. That's really scary. If this guy's whole motivation for, like, working hard, grinding, and, you know, getting money is just to try and act on this fantasy delusion with a stranger, that's unhinged. Well, all of this is unhinged, but that one's even wilder because, again, they're not close to each other. They're still pretty much strangers. I'm starting to get very upset by your actions. You have one more chance. Anything less than an emphatic yes will not be accepted. So he tries to, like, bring it down, an ultimatum. Last chance. This is the last ball game pitch here. It's got to be a home run yes, or I'm out. I'm sure this will come as a huge surprise to all of you watching this, but she still said no. In the most polite way possible, fuck off. I don't owe you shit. I'll be blocking you now. Have a great rest of your life. I waited all day to see if your little conniption would resolve and you'd come back begging me for this opportunity. But I see you've decided to block me on Facebook, but too stupid to also block me on Messenger. At least for now. He's now fully in his villain arc. He put on a trench coat, sunglasses, and he's doing this while typing. I see you've blocked me on Facebook, but not Messenger. For now. I cannot believe I allowed myself to become entangled in the idea that a beastly fat woman such as yourself would actually choose to settle down with me. I can do so much better than you, and yet here I was offering you a way out of your wretched life. We both know you're settling with blank because you're too lazy to lose weight and make yourself more attractive, and you've trained him to be okay with your fat. I was willing to let your fatness go to the side because I knew if you had free time, you'd lose the weight and retain a more attractive figure for our relationship. I'm embarrassed I've spent so much time preparing for this moment and was wasted on a fat whore who doesn't know when she has struck gold. I truly thought you were different, that you actually wanted a nice man to be with. I see I was dead wrong. And she says, you can literally suck the juices out of my fat blank and choke on them, you absolute troglodyte. So at least there's a happy ending here. It ended on a positive note for both parties involved. So this guy did end up doing the quintessential nice guy sign-off, that standard song and dance of, you know what, I'm better than you. I should have never wasted my time with you because you're fat, and you're a whore, and you're chunky, you're chubby, and I hate you. You're tacky, and I hate you. You're fat, and I'm a nice guy, the nicest guy you'll ever meet. You blew it. You blew it. It's on you, and you should feel bad. I'm not crying, you're crying. That's where the text message journey comes to a conclusion. Like I said, there was a lot more outside of text that he did, but I only wanted to focus on the texts. Hopefully they don't have to deal with this individual anymore going forward, and yeah, that's about it. See ya. It's been a little while since I dropped some hot, steaming, creepy text messages on all of you, and I think we were long overdue for some more, so Coach called me off the bench and I'm about to provide. But something a little different here. The text messages I'm going to show aren't like the standard weirdo, unhinged, lunatic type behavior, but I think it's something that a lot of people might be able to learn from. So, to give a little background, the poster here, she mentioned that she had gone on one date with this guy and knew him for like 2 months, and the date didn't go super well. And then we fast forward to this interaction that we're about to cover, and the reason why I think this is a teachable moment is because I feel like this is something maybe a lot of people do without realizing it's not a good idea, and there's actually hints of old Charles in these text messages here, deep in the flavor profile of these embarrassing texts we're about to go over, I see myself staring me in the mirror when I was but a wee lad, a young man. The very first time I got a girl's number that I was interested in, I was giddy. It felt like I had just won the Super Bowl, and I couldn't stop texting her, even when I wasn't getting responses, which is a big no-no. That is a huge, unforgivable sin. You don't do that because it's annoying. And sometimes if I didn't receive a response after my, fourth text in a row within a, 20-minute period, I'd just be like, oh man, shucks. She hates me. Zoinks. I blew it. And then I'd still send, another 3 texts. And I know I mentioned this before at one point, but sometimes I'd get so, desperate and, begging for a response that I'd send her little ASCII art of stick figures. It's so bad. Actually, I was worse than the guy in the messages we're about to cover, but his is floating around, and I really think it's important that people realize that that's just not how you should communicate with anyone. Not even just someone that you're interested in, just anybody in general. No one likes to just be pestered. So let's begin. I am believing right now you might be my kryptonite. Need to hang out more, but I'm pretty sure you're my kryptonite. I'm good with anyone, and they will probably be my best friend once they are done. Just what I'm used to. I don't really know what that means, if I'm being honest. What do you mean, she's your kryptonite? It's supposed to be cute and romantic, but I don't really get it. That's kind of like an insult to her. Look, you're bad for me. You literally poison me. You make me sick, is basically what that's saying. It's not really that romantic, but I think he's trying to mean it in a sweet way. But anyway, she says, sorry I can't talk right now, I just got my son from school, give me a second, which is totally reasonable. She's giving a response letting him know that she can't really properly respond to whatever conversation's trying to be started from this cold open. And he goes, okay, sounds good, enjoy your time with them please. Cody is about to get home, and then we're gonna go play some skee board, and I'm drinking, and then sends a picture of the beverage. He must have been butt-chugging that Miller Lite there, because then things really fly off the rails. Feels kinda weird being in Wichita Falls. I love it though. Let's have a good time. Can I call you? I miss you already. Sorry to call, just wanted to talk to you. I'm guessing he tried dialing her there, and didn't get a response. I don't want to be one of those guys that just be passionate about anything, but in the instance I was passing about you, there's a couple things in society that you go through. I don't know what type of Confucius wisdom he was trying to drop there. There's a whole lot of words in that vomit, and none of it translates to anything in that sentence. I don't know what was even said there. That is a real head-scratcher. Where's life and just live, but nothing truly measures to you meeting up and having a good conversation. I like you. I like you a lot. My friends coming from all destinations have a party tonight. I hope you're there. I hope you have school, please deem that necessary. Please deem your boy necessary. I love our conversation, but I'm probably the best dude you ever know. Big red flag. Anyone that identifies as a nice guy or the best guy you ever know, hey, probably not going to be the best guy you ever know. Yeah, I'm not gonna beat around the bush here. If you're tooting your own horn, that horn's gonna be stinky most of the time here. But me saying that, I don't know. But you are a princess to me. Sorry to text you so much, as I'm not a texter. Do you need to call me? I'm there. I'm leaving Cheddar's now, about to hang out with one of my friends. He's meeting me here. Heart. And she finally responds saying, I'm sorry, I have class in a minute, I'm trying to rush through everything quick as can be. Again, totally understandable, she has already said that she is busy. So it's probably not a good idea to just fucking flood her phone with all this spaghetti that's fallen out here. So let's break this down. He's clearly very excited. And there's nothing wrong with being excited. Being excited's great, but maybe dial it back when you're not getting responses. He talks about loving their conversation. Brother, there's no conversation except for the one you're having with a ghost right now. There's nothing happening in these messages. You are speaking to yourself. To me, it seems like he started panicking when he wasn't getting a response in a time period he felt was acceptable, so then just kept sending more and more text messages on top of it, just bombarding her. And then he sent another picture of, I believe, them out and about. Another thing is, I don't think just sending a bunch of pictures is a good idea either when you're not getting responses. That makes it seem very desperate. Just Just let this sit for a bit. Just let it ruminate. Let her marinate on this and get back to you when she's not busy. You don't need to keep sending these text messages, which is a lesson that I and many others have learned. You don't want to just keep texting endlessly if you're not getting responses. There's this unspoken rule, I suppose, about, double texting or the forbidden jutsu of a triple text. Of course, it's mainly a meme, but there is some real logic behind it. If you're texting with someone and they're not really responding, it's not really a good idea to just keep pressing that. Either they're not interested, which is fine, it happens, or they're busy. And in either one of these cases, sending more text messages is only going to serve to make things much more uncomfortable and worse all around. Girl, be you, that's all that I want, but I do want to see you. And then sends this creep shot of just two women at the bar they're at, two older women. And then he goes, so Cody and I are about to take these ladies home, laughing emojis. I swear to God, two old ladies about to take us home. I want to see you. You in class? This is just really weird. This is bizarre. Where is this coming from? Why are you taking a photo of just two random ladies claiming they're trying to take you home or something? Shit's getting a little loopy here, and it's still not hitting. She's still not responding because, again, she has already explained she has class. She is busy here. Now, the way he's texting makes me feel like he's drunk at the very least, because it's almost incoherent, like babbling, saying nothing. It's so many messages to say nothing. Like, what do you mean? I hope you deem your boy necessary or whatever. Like, what is going on? Like, this is... You shouldn't be texting right now. What you need is some Pedialyte and just rest and recuperate. So she finally responds again saying, I'm in class, I'm sorry. I don't know what the prize that needs to be paid. Just really love the time we had. Might be getting soft. And she's as confused as I am. What do you mean, lol? Me sure who I am is the price I mean. I appreciate the explanation, Yoda. Again, what? Huh? Another picture of some beverages here. We're about to move. Dude thinks he is prettier than me. What the fuck? I told me I can pull more chick than you, bro. Had me cracking up. Just move to the side and have fun, bro, is what I told him. And then sends a picture of a song that he's listening to. I don't know what's happening in the lore right now. He's treating these text messages with this girl like it's his diary. Or like he's live blogging his life right now in real time, live tweeting in these texts. It's baffling. I also think he's making it up. Like, I don't understand what this is supposed to be. You won't believe this. Guy said he could pull more chick than me? Ha! I couldn't stop laughing. It reminds me of that really shitty advice that people used to preach about, convince a woman that you're desirable by making it seem like other women are vying for your attention and time. Like, fake a phone call or something. Pardon me, madam. I'm getting a phone call. Yes, Stacy. No, the pussy appointment was canceled. We can have sex another night. I'm busy. It's boys' night. I'll call you back. Alright, goodbye. Sorry, it's this girl, she always wants to fuck me. But anyway, what was your name again? Like one of those things where it's like, oh wow, this guy's got so many girls are interested in this guy. I mean, maybe I should be interested too, was the line of thought. That's what those text messages scream to me, that he's just making that whole situation up right there. Because what random dude's gonna come up saying that he's prettier than him and that he can pull more chicks than him? Just a total stranger. That's not like a human interaction that would ever happen. Some dudes smell like ass. Laughing emojis. My goodness. Why are you telling her this? What is the response even supposed to be? And then he just sends like another random photo of someone playing pool. Presumably him playing pool, I guess. I don't know. He just keeps sending all these fucking photos of beer, two old ladies, him, beer, pool. Why? It's not a picture book. It's supposed to be text messages, like a conversation, but there's no conversation. Stop fucking texting. And he just says, haha. And she responds again, finally, after a bit of a drought, saying, that's nice. I mean, yeah, that sums it up. Like, what are you supposed to say to this? Just, oh, cool. Oh, interesting. Nice. And then he goes, not without you. We are at Deep Eddies. My goodness, lol. You are going to be able to come out? We will come pick you up. Am I going to be able to see you before the night over with? Like, he's going full caveman mode with a lot of these statements here. I think he has drank a lot over the course of the evening. And still, after all of these messages, nothing of value was said. It's just been weird. You've sent 30 messages to almost no response ever. So let the lesson be learned here to not just keep texting into the void. If you're not getting responses, don't force it. It's a bad idea to just keep sending text after text after text. This fool. And then she finally responds and just she just gets right down to business. I don't want to be rude, but you knew I had class. I made it clear. I've been here an hour and a half and you have texted me 33 times compared to my 5 times. This was all. I bet a lot of you watching this thought that these text messages had come over the course of like a day or something. An hour and a half. Jiminy Christmas. I'm sorry, I do not want to pursue this any further. You don't understand boundaries or when someone isn't answering. Be safe. Have a good night. I think that is a very understandable, reasonable, and respectful way of just getting this across here. He clearly did not respect boundaries or respect that she was busy, so I think this makes complete sense. And he says, I won't text you anymore, nor will I ever message you again. Have a good life. My apologies did not mean any disrespect. I hope you climb mountains. I truly like you. Glad you disrespected me now so I know. I get it. Wow. And then that emoji, I don't really know what that emoji's supposed to convey here for the emotion. Told me that you would keep me updated. We have a good life. And then some more hand emojis. I mean, it could have been worse, I suppose. Yeah, anyway, just wanted to share this. Hopefully you learned something from it. That's about it. See ya. Santa Claus came early with the cringe. His little helpers were cooking up something fierce, and, well, it got gifted under my tree a bit early today, and I wanted to share it with all of you. It's definitely different than the normal things we've been covering when it comes to this romantic rabbit hole of tragedy. The worst text messages, the worst flirting, the worst dates. This one is different from all the others I've covered, actually, so cozy on up with your favorite Christmas sweater, get under the mistletoe, and get ready to kiss your sanity goodbye, because this one is a real head-scratcher. For the first time in this goofy little series history, we're getting the perspective of a man talking to a woman here. Usually it's the other way around, where a woman has a really creepy encounter with a man and things go cattywampus, shit pops off, tits up, it's all over the place, it's a catastrophe. This time, we're going Freaky Friday mode, we're switching bodies here, so we're on the perspective of a man who has just matched with a woman from Tinder. They've been talking for a little while and it leads to this. I'm jealous, I want ribeye. I'm assuming they were talking about ribeye. I'm quite the detective, I know. I just have a hunch that that's what the conversation was about. She then continues, lol, I'm glad you liked that. To which he says, I would happily cook for you. What's your favorite food? Oh, you will? I love baking, so maybe I'll bake you a cake or some bread, lol. I love steak, rare or medium rare. I love that idea. When can we make this happen? What a great start. I dare say these two are soulmates. This is wholesome, the exchange is going super well. Looks like they're about to set up a date to cook together or bake together. How could it possibly go awry? The good vibes continue. I'm not sure. You haven't asked me on a proper date yet. To which he says, what are you up to tomorrow evening? This is already looking like something out of a Hallmark movie. This is super efficient, super, great all around. She says, I'm pretty sure my family is stopping by because my sister's in town, but I'm not completely sure. What about you? I see. I've got nothing tomorrow evening. I'd like to schedule said date with you, but I also need to maneuver around holiday busyness. Do you have availability 12/26? And she says, I'm off all next week. The 26th would be perfect, with 2 blushing, smiling emojis. And I'm just sitting here, smiling, blushing, reading this story. Got me cheesing, it's so happy and wholesome. I also find it cute that in order to schedule the date, he conducted it like it was some kind of business meeting, penciling her in and, locking it down. The whole thing is just adorable. So how could it possibly end up in the shitter? What went wrong? Well, let's take a peek. Beautiful. It's a date. Would you be comfortable coming to my loft in blank and we can cook? I have a cat here too. She's lovely. To which she responds, no, I'm sorry. I don't do apartment dates for first dates. That literally made me so disappointed that you said that as a suggestion. I'm going to cut this loose. I hope you have a good Christmas and good New Year. Wish you the best. To which he says, all good. That's a totally understandable position from the woman here. Not going to a stranger's apartment for the first date is probably the safest decision you can make, so there's nothing wrong with setting a hard line in the sand like, hey, I don't really go to people's apartments for the first time meeting them. That kind of decision probably keeps you alive. You might end up at like a fucking serial killer's place. You know, you go over there for medium rare steak, and you end up the steak. Turns out your Tinder date is Armin Meaves or something from Cannibal Cafe. So there's nothing wrong with her not wanting to go there for the first date. But she immediately jumps to being like, all right, we're done here. I'm so disappointed you even suggested it. Even though they were talking about cooking and baking together. It's not like he just pulled this out of his ass like a nefarious plot where he was rubbing his hands together and came up with this scheme. They were talking about cooking and baking together. How are you supposed to do that together outside of a household or an apartment or something? There's really no way to do that, so it should be pretty obvious why he suggested it. And he wasn't pressuring her into it. He even said, if you're comfortable, here's an option I think would be fun, since we've been talking about cooking and baking. He wasn't like poking her or trying to bribe her into coming over there and set a trap or anything. He was just putting the offer out there. So I feel like a less aggressive response from her would have been something more along the lines of, hey, politely, I'd like to decline that. Don't feel comfortable going to your place for our first time meeting. And according to the comment section, he planned on offering an alternative because he understood why she wouldn't want to do that. But then things really start to pop off before he had the chance. So he says, I hope you have a great Christmas as well. To which she responds, Jdi du perdele zatratse. I'm 100% sure I butchered the pronunciation on that, but I popped it in a Google Translate here, and it translates to go to hell, get lost. And I decided to investigate further, damn near having to revive Babelfish to try and get like another translation, because that just sounded so incomprehensibly mean after all of this. But the other translation that I keep seeing for it is basically, fuck you. Which just doesn't make any sense to me, because the guy was just following the conversation they were having. They were both saying like, yeah, let's cook together. And then she even suggested baking, like, yeah, let's bake together. So he's like, all right, bet, let's do it. Let's cook and bake together. And then she just goes, fuck you, scumbag, get lost. So he tries to like explain himself. He goes, for the record, it just seemed like a logical next step in the conversation because we were talking about cooking together. Sorry to offend or disappoint you, ma'am. And she just goes, go fuck yourself, dude. This time, plain English. So that one I understood. And then he just says, very weird response in my opinion. And then she unleashes the demon here. She lets Hulkmania run wild. You know exactly why you fucking invited me to your loft. And it wasn't for cooking. Don't text me ever again, blocked. And then he just goes, we met on Tinder, remember? Wish you the best in getting a date. I'll be warning all 30,000 women in blank about you. Now you're blocked. And he's just like, well, actually, wiggling his finger, blank has a population of 6.47 million, about half of which would be women. Warning 30,000 people about anything is an extremely tall order. You don't even get 30,000 people that heed hurricane warnings in Florida. If she's somehow able to send up the bat signal here to warn all 30,000 women in that immediate area about this guy, hats off to her. That's an incredible achievement, and she should use that power for good instead of evil. This guy didn't do anything wrong. He's clearly starting to take the piss here a little bit and just play around with it with that population remark. But I almost don't blame him because this is such an unbelievably hostile response to something that wasn't ever really meant in a disrespectful way, at least not from what I can see. She just immediately jumped to the conclusion that this guy is only looking to have sex with her. He's not actually inviting her over to cook. He is inviting her over to his place just for some coitus. There would be no steak being prepared. The only thing being steamed in that apartment would be ham. Steamed ham. I'm referring to them fucking. Like, that's such a stupid way of saying it. Mashing pissers, whatever have you. So she just believed that this guy was some huge asshole and was only using cooking as some kind of Trojan horse to get her over, but his true intentions were for a little bedroom rodeo action and nothing more. When really, to me, it really seems like they were talking about cooking and baking together. They were both on the same page. So when the idea of a date came up, which she proposed, the logical conclusion you draw is, hey, we've been talking about cooking and baking together. Let's do that for our date. Like, it doesn't really seem like there was any kind of malicious intent behind it. And he never really had a chance to offer an alternative because she immediately just shut the whole thing down, which she has every right to do. There's nothing wrong with that. But it does seem like he wasn't trying to just be some douchebag or whatever. Like, it seemed like he was just offering a date that they had been talking about as a mutual interest. I'm sure he probably would have offered an alternative since she wasn't comfortable coming over to his place. He continues to just get a little sarcastic about things. He goes, please warn them about how a guy from Tinder invited you over to cook the day after Christmas. To which she says, dude, I'm in multiple groups totaling over 500,000. With your face, LMAO, you won't be getting no play unless you pay. Good riddance, roach. Honestly starting to sound like the Navy SEALs copy pasta. I've got over 500 confirmed blocks, and I will have your face plastered in the papers for 500,000 people to see. I'm part of every goddamn Facebook group on the East Coast, and they'll all know your name, villain. He just says, lol, roach. She continues, and I will, 2 exclamation points. It's like she's giving like a big speech in front of an auditorium. I'll let them know you tried to fucking invite me to your pathetic ass apartment for an easy lay masquerade as a cooking date. Yeah, we aren't stupid. Even your fucking hairline ran from you. Now sit back and enjoy being alone. And he just goes, I hope you find peace and love. Yeah, I mean, what else can you do except pray for happiness for her? Like, this went south so quick out of nowhere, and I don't think it needed to. They could have just said, like, not comfortable, are you open to anything else? And if he tried to be pushy about it, like, no, you have to come to my apartment, then all of this is a totally reasonable thing to say. Like, no, you clearly just want to fuck, get out of here, get lost, scram, Buster, hit the road, take a hike. But she didn't even get that far. She immediately just jumped to this assumption that this guy is a piece of shit and he needs to go to hell and get lost. And now apparently she's going around putting up wanted posters like it's One Piece with a 5 billion berry bounty on this guy's head, all because he had the gall to invite her over for a cooking date that both of them were discussing together. I just don't really know how she'd even frame this as a bad guy to her 500,000 person group that she's a part of. I don't even know what group that would be. That's like a wildly large group to be a part of, and I can't imagine she has like a power position there where she can put out an APB on this guy or something. But even still, I don't really know how you could even spin this guy as a horrible person. But yeah, anyway, just wanted to cover this one. This one's different from the norm that we usually go over here, so that's really about it. See ya. I hope you've been practicing your ha-ha-has, doing your laughing stretches, because we're about to have ourselves a real giggle fit here over this weirdo loser embarrassing himself in a big way. This post blew up on Twitter right now, so it seems like I'm not the only one with a naughty little guilty pleasure here who enjoys laughing at unhinged creeps. So the woman here has been talking to this fine, gentle sir from Bumble, and she asks him, I guess I'm just wondering what your expectations are from a partner. He goes, like, in terms of expectations from women? Or men, I don't know how you swing. And he goes, women, not men. He uses 2 periods here, so it feels like this was like very serious to him. He put his foot down on that one, so there would be no confusion. So then she says, lol, okay, then yeah, what are your expectations for your girlfriend, wife, whatever? Can I be honest about it? It might be seen as outdated or something, haha. To which he says, yeah, of course, this is a judgment-free zone. It's almost cute to imagine him typing that, like, can I be honest about it? And then she has to reassure him, like, yeah, of course, this is a safe space for a super special Sigma like you. And she's about to unleash the demon with that one. She doesn't know what deal with the devil she just made here. Now, while she might not be judging him, I certainly will be. I'm be judging this motherfucker like dread. I'm gonna charge him with the capital offense of cringe here, because it's about to get brutal. So he spills his guts. Honestly, I'm looking for a traditionally feminine woman, someone who isn't going to mind being the child rearer and homemaker, someone who's going to take care of her appearance and herself and just all around is content to be a female in our relationship. I know that's pretty anti-feminist or whatever, but it's just how I feel. Lol. So he expresses his preference when it comes to a relationship and a partner, and all power to you. I believe this is something called tradwife, a term I just recently learned with this post going viral. So forgive me if I'm not 100% familiar with the nomenclature here or what it means, but based on what I've read, it refers to like a stay-at-home partner who will cook, clean, and take care of the children. Basically anything you used to see in old black and white television shows when it comes to the family dynamic is what trad wife refers to. It even stands for traditional wife, I think. So he's just expressing that that's what he's looking for here, and she responds very positively to it, saying, "Oh, slay, I don't think that's anti-feminist or outdated at all. To be honest, that's pretty similar to what I want too, lol. Kind of my dream if I'm being honest." And he goes, "Really? Well, Raggy, we've got ourselves a real match made in heaven. These two are sounding perfect for each other. What they want out of a relationship and a partner seems to align wonderfully. So what could possibly go wrong here, right? I mean, how do you fuck this up? This is like fate bringing the two perfect soulmates together from the sound of things." So she goes even further. She's excited. She goes, "Yeah, double exclamation point. She's fucking pumping her fist here. I'd love to be able to focus on making my house a home, working on myself, and just be taken care of without having to stress about expenses or money." And then here's where it starts to go tits up. "What do you mean?" There's cracks in the ship. It's starting to sink. He's got his monocle on. He's about to start investigating, interrogating. He's entering fight or flight mode because something here went awry in his eyes, and he's not too happy about it. So she explains, "Just that I'd love a traditional man who's going to cover my expenses and make sure I'm getting what I want. Someone who brings that kind of masculine energy." And he goes, "So you're looking for a guy who isn't going to mind buying you whatever you want and basically will just bankroll your whole life?" She's like, "I don't know if I'd put it like that. I think you're starting to see where this is going. You're about to see the fork in the road and we're going down the path to Insano style. So you're a gold digger / user, basically." And she goes, "More like someone who will take care of our family financially so I can take care of him and his kids, etc." And she goes, "No, LMAO, I promise," referring to not being a gold digger. "How is that any different from you wanting your girlfriend / wife to take care of the home and their kids? Feels like a double standard for you to call me a gold digger." Now let's break this down here and follow the breadcrumbs of his logic. So he wants a stay-at-home wife that will take care of the kids, cook, clean, do laundry, wipe his ass, wipe his tears when he fails his bronze to silver promos in League of Legends for the 50th time in a row. But when she expresses that she'd want a traditional masculine husband that would be working and providing financially for both her and the household, he takes a big issue with that. He starts wiggling his finger. "Well, actually, I shouldn't have to do those things. You're a gold digger for expecting that of me." And that doesn't make a whole lot of sense because, as the initial tweet points out, he wants a traditional wife without him being a traditional husband. He then goes into a full soiled diaper temper tantrum meltdown. "It's not a double standard. It's different because the things that I'm looking for, emotionally stable, takes care of herself, good with kids, are inherently female traits. Good women naturally have that stuff. You're looking for some rich guy who can buy you stuff. That's not naturally part of being a guy. It's totally different. I mean, especially because of how expensive life is in general these days, you think I'm going to be able to afford a $500,000 house on one salary just so you can play dress up and not have to worry about a job? You expect to not contribute to the bills or the cost of living? Fuck you. I knew there was something wrong with you. No wonder you tried to humiliate me at the restaurant. I should have left right then and there." I would bet a large amount of money that that humiliation he's referring to is something extremely trivial that nobody else in the world in their right mind would actually take as disrespectful. I actually guarantee what it is she asked if she could split the bill with him or maybe provide tip on their date at the restaurant. And when she said that, he's like, "Oh, my pride! You think I'm broke? You've humiliated me and the whole restaurant knows it now." But anyway, let's go through this whiny wiener's diary. So he starts, no. Listen here, harlot. These are inherently female traits. Being good with kids, emotionally stable, those kind of things. Being rich is not an inherently male trait. You just want some rich Chad that can buy you everything you want so you can suck all his money out. You expect me to buy you a $500,000 house on a one salary income and you don't have to worry about getting a job so you can just stay at home and play dress up? Which is a wild point to try and make because you are literally asking her to do that. You are telling her you want her to be a trad wife, a stay-at-home partner, and then you're just shitting on her for being a stay-at-home partner, just boiling it down to, "You're just at home playing dress up." So you're like belittling her for what you want her to do, blaming her for not contributing to bills or the cost of living or anything when you are literally talking about how you want an angel that'll just be a stay-at-home trad wife. Like, I don't know how he can expect her to be a stay-at-home partner, taking care of kids, clothes, laundry, the household, the day-to-day activities, all of that, and also still having a job on top of it too to provide for herself as well as you. That makes no sense. You'd have to take on the role of the provider. You'd have to put on your big boy pants and really tighten your bootstraps to get a job that would allow you to live that lifestyle, because you would have to provide that in order for your wife to be able to do those things. Because with the expectations you have of her that you express here, she would not be able to get a job on top of all of that as well to help out. That's why the trad wife model also needs the trad husband on top of it that would be providing it. But he is right about one thing. It is nearly impossible to afford a house on a one salary income in today's climate. This is actually something we've talked about quite a bit on stream recently, but the cost of living right now is fucking tragic. It is unbelievably expensive. You'd have better luck winning a house from a game show like Deal or No Deal than being able to afford one with just a one salary income, because the prices are ridiculous right now. It's fucking horrible. So he is right that it'd be unlikely that with just him working, he'd be able to buy a house for his family. But in that case, he would need to understand that his partner would also be working as well to help with that, thus wouldn't necessarily be able to provide all the trad wife things that he would expect of his partner. So she responds saying, "My guy, chill out, because he is having a conniption right now. I never said I was looking for a rich guy or a 500k house or anything like that, just that I want a guy who can take care of me, especially if I'm raising his kids. How can your dream woman be the homemaker and child rearer if she's also working full-time to pay the bills? I have absolutely no issue with gender roles or division of labor in a relationship, but you're not looking for a traditional woman. You're looking for a maid and nanny who can also help pay your bills." And she is right on the money with that one. Absolutely fucking cooked him with it. That is exactly what he's pretty much describing at this point. He's not really even looking for a trad wife. He's looking for a fucking sex robot, basically, that can double as a basically nanny. So someone who's going to take care of the kids, take care of the entire household, but then he can still come home and stick his pathetic cock in and then call it a night with a brewski and passing out on the couch. And this is when the wheels fully come off. Fuck you! Just say you were only interested in me for my money. Next time you match with some sucker, tell him that up front so he doesn't waste his time with you. And then she says, "I paid for last night, my dude." So that must be the humiliation he's referring to. She paid for the meal that they ate together, and he still is fuming about it. He's still just fucking steam coming out of his ears about it. And then she goes, "What do you mean interested in you for your money? Shut the fuck up. My comp sci degree is gonna do way more for me than your business one ever will, bitch. Now I know why you're getting a finance degree. Probably so you can scout out the rich guys and try and steal their money." And she just goes, "If you're gonna curse me out and call me gold digger because I want a traditional man even though you want a traditional woman, something tells me you're not the type of guy I'm looking for. Lose my number, but I hope you have a good life." I really feel like behind his text messages, I can sniff the tears in his eyes. Like after he sent that final text message there, he threw his phone down and screaming and wailing into the bathroom where he locked himself in there for the next half an hour to calm down, splashing water on his face. These two, in the beginning, seemed to be perfectly in line with what they wanted out of a partner. This felt like a great match here. And yet, Goofball was able to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory here, driving her as far away as possible, frightening her, and revealing that he is a massive, unhinged lunatic and a big old creep. Like, what in the world? She even paid for their dinner last night, too, and then he still had the gall to be like, "You're only with me for my money." What? But the shamelessness still wasn't over yet. He came back later and then sent a message at 1:30 a.m. after all of this hoopla and just said, "Hey, you up right now?" Trying to booty call the girl that he just had this embarrassing temper tantrum in front of. Hey, sometimes you gotta just shoot your shot, I guess, even after you make an absolute fool of yourself. I don't know what fantasy land he's living in that would make him think that would work. I don't know what he was expecting. Maybe he thought the Men in Black went and neuralized her or something, so she totally forgot about these text messages. But that was never going to pan out well there at the end. I don't know why he thought he might get some action from it. But yeah, I saw this floating around today and I just had to talk about it a little bit. I am so glued to these fucking awful text messages and like these awful dates and romance stories, man. I am in so deep on it. Anyway, that's about it. See ya. Rejection never feels good, it always hurts, and rejection comes in many different shapes and sizes, many different forms of rejection. Maybe you're like me, 5'6", playing a pickup basketball game, driving down an open lane, about to get this easy layup only for it to be swatted last second by a 6'6" freak athlete. And there's nothing you can do about it. It's embarrassing, but it happens. Or maybe you're finally shooting your shot with this romantic interest you've had for a while, only to find out they're not interested and they turn you down. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, I won't pull the punches here. It sucks. It feels like shit. But learning how to handle rejection is a necessary part of life. So back to my basketball example. What do I do when my shot gets blocked? Well, I get tears in my eyes and come up with as many excuses as possible, and I try and call a foul if possible, so that way we can run that back. So it's not my fault, it's they played dirty. And what happens when you get rejected by a romantic interest? You move on. At least that's the healthy way of doing it. Let me show you 2 unhealthy ways of handling rejection. This girl and this guy were communicating under the impression that maybe this leads to a long-term relationship. That's the context going into these text messages, and it starts, "I love it. Oh baby, I'll service you in your car from now on." Straight up Brazzers storyline type shit. And she responds, "Ha ha 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 ha. Let's go on a date before I get serviced. I'll be there Saturday, lol. I'm actually staying the night there too." And then there's a lot of like redacted information here, like a CIA document, so I don't exactly know what was being said in between these, but she says, Where do you live? Oh, okay. Got it. So far, things seem to be going well enough. They're making plans. She says, "Do you have plans for when you're here?" And he says, "Hopefully just you, but no plans other than that. Just needed a breather from my son. I'm going to book a hotel room tonight when my check hits." Which is starting to give off a bit of a weird vibe there. She says, "Oh, how old is your son?" 13. And then he says, "Maybe you could stay the night." She responds, "I don't do that the first night. I'm sorry." And he goes, "I don't mean all night, lol." And she's as confused as everyone else would be. So she says, "Ha ha 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 ha. What? You said stay the night." "I meant like hang out at the room after dinner. Maybe cuddle up. I'm a huge fan of cuddles and the best in the world at giving full body massages." I highly doubt that. I'm going to need some citation for that. I don't believe you. That's not what I usually do after first dates. I just don't think we're on the same page with dating. That's totally okay. Just not a match. So she's taking this in stride, she's like, hey, is what it is. And then he keeps going. "Exceptions could be made." "What? Lol, what do you mean?" "I mean dinner. Hang out. And eat between your legs like a Sunday lunch buffet after dinner. Lol. Clap them cheeks too." So she's very gently saying no to this guy. And this is the approach that a lot of dudes take with the car salesman type shit. Don't take no for an answer. So he continues to just keep pushing like, no. What if I, the world's best full body masseuse, give you a happy ending? Where I eat your pussy like corn on the cob. I'll chew on your clit till it bleeds and I bust. How about then? How about that? How does that sound? I'll even clap your cheeks too. As a little added bonus on top of my service. So, when are you coming over? Are you at the door yet? Unsurprisingly, this last-ditch effort didn't work, she says, "So you don't know how to listen, cool. Don't make exceptions for men who don't respect my boundaries." Fair enough. She said no, and he continued to be weird about it. It's a really fucked mentality to not accept a no and keep pushing. It's just creepy behavior that's never going to amount to anything positive ever. When someone declines something or tells you no to something, you should really accept that, respect that, and just move on. It's not like you're going to change their mind by being an annoying pest about it. Like, oh, wait, what? Rejection? Wait a minute. You're not thinking this through. What if I clapped your cheeks? You failed to think about that, didn't you? Yeah. So if I clapped your cheeks, now I assume you won't be rejecting me? What do you mean you're calling the police? This one's a masterclass on how to respond to rejection like an unhinged lunatic, so this one's getting extremely angry when getting told no. I don't know what the conversation is here. These two had met on like a dating app and they were talking. He says Mario, so perhaps the question was, who was Luigi trying to save in Luigi's Mansion? I don't know, maybe they were playing a trivia game. She says, okay. She doesn't seem super enthusiastic about that response, so maybe she's not a fan of the Super Mario Brothers. Who knows? But anyway, he says, "How was the mall? Get anything good?" She says, "No, I didn't look. I was just returning something." And then she sends a picture of herself in an outfit. And he goes, "Oh, that looks really good. Gotta get you some lingerie." Admittedly, I don't exactly know what happened in between the last text we just saw with him flirting and then these. He goes nuclear here. He goes full fucking scorched earth out of nowhere. So I'm thinking that there's some text messages that were exchanged in between these two, so we're just missing an entire chapter of this anime arc that he goes on to reach the villain status. So she says, "I don't want to drive to blank for blank, I don't have enough gas." And according to the context she provided, they had apparently had a date scheduled, but she had to cancel last minute because of something school related, and now she was texting him back just to talk today. And there must have been something in between him saying, "We gotta get you some lingerie," and this. I just don't know what it could be. Maybe he invited her, like, to another place, and she just said, "No, I don't have gas for that." But anyway, he responds, "Oh, alright, that's cool then. Didn't know all that, lol. You said you had some school stuff the other day. Now is gas, lol. You dirty, fat, sloppy, broke piece of shit. You got no gas, but got gas to go to the mall window shopping, lol. Thanks for making my morning, lol." And she just responds, "Lol." He just desperately tried to spam as much hurtful shit as he could think of quickly, like in a League of Legends game when you get mad that your bottom lane's feeding or something. How else are you going to respond besides just laughing at this pathetic tantrum? So she hits him with a lol, which only sets him off even further, so he sends her picture back to her in order to keep insulting her. "Yeah, this shit is funny, lol. Fat ass bitch, you pushing what, almost 190, 200? I almost find it fascinating how anytime one of these weirdos gets their feelings hurt, they always resort to just like, "Well, you're fat anyway. You're fat." Like, it always comes down to that. The second that they get rejected or told no or something's not going swimmingly in their eyes, less than satisfactory, they always default to fatty, that kind of shit, and then just go on this, like, long-winded rant about, like, "Actually, I'm the nicest guy the world's ever known, and I was doing you a favor by showing interest. You're fat at the end of the day. That's the big... I didn't want you anyway. I'm not crying, you're crying." This one's just a little bonus, a cherry on top of the rejection cake. It's not exactly rejection per se, it's kind of adjacent. So this is somebody's ex who just texted her out of the blue. He says, "You dead yet?" That 4:22 a.m. crack pipe's hitting a little different today, so he gets bold and brash and says, "You dead yet?" to her. And he doesn't get a response right away, so then tries to get a little more edgy. And then says, "I'm going to fuck on top of your grave and smear dog shit on your tombstone." And this does get a response from her. She just says, "Get a hold of yourself." That line from her made me giggle so hard I had to throw this in here. You have this unhinged weirdo texting at 4:20 a.m. asking if you're dead and then saying that he's going to smear dog shit on your grave while having sex on top of it. There's so many logical inconsistencies with that. A, who's going to agree to have sex at a cemetery on top of a gravestone? That's just guaranteed to get some, like, demons and spirits haunting you for life. And B, why would you bring dog shit with you to have sex? Even if you found a willing participant here, I feel like if you brought a bag of dog poop with you, that's immediately going to ruin the mood and you probably won't be having sex. Like, this just doesn't make any sense. This guy's spitting a bunch of nonsense here, a bunch of mumbo jumbo. And she just immediately calls him out on it, saying, "Just get a hold of yourself, you weirdo." It's so good. I just had to include that in here. Again, it's not exactly rejection per se. Like, it's not in line with the other two, but it's just something that I had to toss in. That's really about it. See ya. Hey there. It's been a little while since I showed you text messages from an unhinged weirdo. I thought we were long overdue, so let's just dive right into it, huh? A little bit of context before we begin our adventure. This is a co-worker who's about to make like an ice cream cone in the Florida weather and melt down over absolutely nothing. Also, there's a Discord message that came through at the same time they screenshotted this from someone named Bastard. I don't know the whole story around that. I guess they're being contacted by Austin Powers or something, but it's not pertinent to the journey we're about to go on. So the coworker says, "You get home okay? I just got home myself." To which they reply, "Leaving the bar now." "Well, I'm home and awake if you want to come by, lol." Drops his address. "If you want." I love that he uses this emoji. Usually it's like a winky from these awful pickup attempts, but he decided to be a little innovative there with one of these. I'm half surprised he didn't just send a dick pic or something at that point, like, hey, you're just leaving the bar, right? Do you want to come over, lol? No big deal if not, I'm just putting lotion on my meat and then sending photo evidence of it. Shockingly, he doesn't get a response, so he has to spend the night kissing his pillow and going to bed sad, but he comes around the following afternoon saying, sorry, those last few texts were meant for a buddy at the bar that I didn't want to drive too far home if he was too drunk, and then when I called him it went to you by mistake. But yes, hope you got home okay as well. It's very important I mention this guy is 40 years old, and he is texting like an actual child. That tactic right there, I am sure everyone watching this has experienced at one point in their life, where you send a message to someone and you're like immediately embarrassed, so then you come up with a response like, oh sorry, that wasn't me that sent that message, that was a buddy of mine, he just hacked into my phone and sent you that by mistake. I would never say that I liked you, or that's gross, that's yucky. Wasn't me. I wasn't trying to invite you over to my house or anything. That was meant for a friend of mine who was super drunk, and I was just trying to save his life is all. Like, I'm actually a hero. I'm a super good guy. That message was truly a crazy mistake. Things then get super weird because he comes back the following day and says, yes, my friend, ... It's a shame, ... That's so cringe. It's like a Reddit mod cosplaying as some kind of Saturday morning cartoon villain doing this with their hands. Yes, my friend, it's a shame. Ah, Sonic the Hedgehog, you've come to my lair. What a shame you didn't see through my plan. It's so odd and embarrassing reading that. Always have been told what a gentleman I am, and he puts his pinky out, no doubt, when he typed that message. I can actually smell him through these. I mean, the physical stuff was both of us, I don't regret that, but the lingering bothered me because I think of a lot of you. I think a lot of you, as in the quality of person you are. No response. So you're gonna soon realize that he's actually illiterate. His weird dweeb speech didn't quite work with the yes my friend angle, still no response. So he tries again at 4:41 a.m. saying, hey you. And then he comes back shortly after saying, you honestly creep me out. Our bar is suffering for the first time since 2016 because we have a selling sandwich worker. I don't know what the fuck he's even trying to say. Sure, you could learn, but it's all a joke to you. You're an idiot if you think my natural personality was like that. You fucking grabbed neck. So, the dam's beginning to break here. Pandora's box is opened, and every single emotion is flooding out of him right now, and the only one left inside of that box is sanity. He has forsaken sanity here. He immediately starts living in delusion and just spouting fucking gobbledygook. It's absolute garbage. I do love, however, that he says that they creep him out because they didn't respond to his 441 hey you booty call text. That just sent him over the edge like, this makes no sense, this is incomprehensible. You really give me the heebie-jeebies. What is wrong with you? You didn't respond to my 4:41 a.m. text message? That's ridiculous. Everybody texts me at 4:41 a.m. That's like the most optimal time to text, and the fact that you didn't tells me that there is something evil afoot here. You're not right. Oh, also, I should probably explain that last cryptic message he sent with, you fucking grab neck. So, what that is, the poster explained a little more in the comments. Apparently, they had given him a ride back at some point to his apartment, and he refused to leave the car and insisted that they go to his apartment together, but that obviously wasn't flying here. So, since he refused to get out of the car on his own power, it led to like some kind of like actually aggressive struggle where his neck may have been grabbed and like pushed out of the car or whatever. So that's what that is. Can't see the top part of the text, but it ends with tweaking, which is super accurate to what's happening right now. And he responds, is this a group chat? Accept the rejection, learn from it, move on. Also, begging to go on another date with me is cringe as fuck. I'm tired of taking losers and try to help them so our restaurant didn't look like fools. Doesn't. Date? Laughing, crying emojis. I feel bad for you, You. Okay, bye. Laughing, crying emojis. You are, what, 22 and act like 15. There is no date. Laughing, crying emojis. Thank God I finally got John here. I don't know who John is, but hey, fist bump to John. The savior has arrived. John is saving the day. There has never been a date. ... My God. ... What kind of weird-ass life do you live? ... I said we have crackheads at work and maybe we can go outside, and maybe we can go out besides that... If you didn't see that on Saturday night with the convict you are still and idiot and not who I talked to you about thinking you are mature and different... You are just a basic Lucy fly we have to deal with. The fuck is a Lucy fly? A loose fly? Loose fly? I don't know what that... I'm no zoologist, and I don't feel like looking it up. Scratch that, I just went back on my word there. I did look it up. Nothing appeared on Google search. Even Google was like, are you fucking dumb? Hey, excuse me, Charles, did you mean to Google this nonsense mumbo-jumbo? Loose fly, are you stupid? So I don't even know what word he was trying to put there, because there is nothing that even remotely pops up to explain that. By the way, the tweaking is on purpose to mock these idiots. Crying laughing emoji. I'm still is the Marine Reserves. In. Trying to read his text messages is like trying to read Finnegan's Wake. This shit is incomprehensible. He is so angry, he actually can't type. He's just seeing red, and he's like actually trembling fucking tweaking as he's trying to send these messages. But according to him, the tweaking is all an act. He's only pretending to be a tweaker to make fun of the real tweakers. We couldn't possibly begin to understand his galaxy brain scheme. He's 5 levels ahead of the rest of us simpletons. Damn, imagine being 40 and still illiterate and pathetic. Take care. Illiterate? Let me out it this way. I'm assuming he meant let me put it this way, but he immediately blew it. So after following up illiterate allegations, he proves them true right away. You've accused me of being illiterate? Well, check this out. How illiterate is that for you? Question mark. Crying laughing emoji. You cannot be this dumb. I am mocking the way you talk. I would love to, like, get a peek inside of that noodle of his. What a very special brain. No, I'm not tweaking. I'm making fun of tweakers by pretending to be one. No, I'm not illiterate. I'm making fun of you. I'm making fun of the way you talk with my illiteracy. What don't you understand? You're so stupid, you can't even see that. Haha, I feel bad for you. Haha. I am 40. Served my country and stepfather well. Brother, I don't... What? You served your stepfather well. Where is that even coming from? Who asked? What ghost are you engaged with right now in this conversation? Like, what the fuck? I'm 40 years old and I served my stepfather so goddamn well. Why didn't he love me, huh? Why? You are a punk ass that thinks this is a joke. He know you have no bartending experience. I love the... Like, this has to be on purpose. He know you have no. Instead of just using N-O, it's K-N-O-W. No. This is so interesting. It's like a game of Mad Libs. It's so weird. He takes a shot on losers and hopes they do well. We have had some that turned their life around and helped us. Then we have the new age shit like ... Fill in the blank. But it's obviously becoming you as well. That you have no bartending experience, correcting his grammatical mistake as any scholar would do. You want to put some of the group chat? Put this. You want to put some on the group chat? Put this. Why? Be careful what you ask for. Why? So, like, he's self-aware enough in this rage to recognize how stupid he looks and knowing that this is going to be shared with other coworkers, I suppose, and just continues to keep digging a hole. Because personally, I call out every loser or anyone that makes us suck. I don't know if he meant to say sick, or if he's like, you're the reason this restaurant sucks. We suck 'cause of you, not me. I work hard, damn it. They reply saying, everyone knows I'm bartending for fun, and I have no prior experience. Seems like you're the only one with a problem with this. Everyone? Yeah. Are bartending for fun? You are bartending for fun? Fuck you. Stay away.
This restaurant isn't for fun. It's a business, and we take pride in it. This is like actual We Are Walmart energy here. There's nothing wrong with taking pride in your job. I actually think that's an incredibly admirable thing. But to this level, where it's like almost delusional that this restaurant has become a part of your identity, when it's not a restaurant you own, this is just this is just a coworker. This is just someone that works there, I'm pretty sure. So it's not like it's his restaurant that's being insulted or anything, and this guy is about to go to fucking war for it. Who the fuck is everyone anyway? I train. Then God forbid the last couple months we had these losers train bar, and there is Joe. Who's Joe? Where's Joe? Joe Mama? What, like Joe Blow? Like what is this? We've got John coming out of nowhere, which is like this guy's saint. Now we got Joe, and the way he's talking about it, I guess Joe's not a good guy. That's one of the villains we should be rooting against. I don't know. None of this is for fun. It's family. It's work. It's blood, sweat, and tears, and you just proved my point of why I don't like certain people that mock our restaurant. Are you done harassing me? I feel like as he was typing that last sentence there, you just proved my point of why I don't like people who mock our restaurant. He was charging up one of these. Why I oughta. Getting ready to get the knuckle sandwich deployed. No, the drug videos are enough. Good night. That came out of nowhere. I don't know what drug videos he's referring to. The poster also doesn't know, apparently. Thanks for repping blank. And bring your trash to us. That's why he hired you, not because you worked for fun. We thought you had pride. Once again, please stop bringing your trash. The amount of times that he corrects himself, it's like a fucking English professor in a middle school. Like, just coming through with grammatical corrections throughout the paper with the red pen. And please, please, put our work group chat that you... And please put our work group chat that you bartending is just for fun. ... Just like the video of you doing drugs will go to the VP of USAA. Actually, I don't like you. Just as a military Marine vet will do it on my own. I will do it on my own. That doesn't clear up the confusion with the statement. So, let's assume he's telling the truth here. Like he has videos of this coworker doing drugs. What are you gonna do with that? Like, he's trying to be like a hall monitor here, but like, what... Are you going to report it to the police? Because, like, I don't think they're going to act on it. Like, my coworker smoked weed, here's proof. But he doesn't even say that. He's like, I'm going to the VP of USAA. So you're going to take videos of this coworker doing drugs to the VP of a bank? Why the fuck are they going to care? I imagine 90% of the people at the bank have used drugs at some point, and they're still doing business with them. Like, it's not like they're going to get outraged, like, oh, good golly. One of our clients does drugs? Cancel their accounts quickly. Freeze their assets. Thank you for bringing this to our attention. This is invaluable. It's so weird. And also, just for a cherry on top, the poster explained that they actually don't even bank with USAA in the first place. So he'd just be going to a random bank with a video of a random person doing drugs. At that point, you could just pull up a video from Reddit of someone doing drugs. The final message sent to this maniac was a no bitches meme saying, I don't know what drug videos you're talking about, lol. And they did post another picture as well where apparently this coworker was fired. So that sounds about par for the course. This was a loose cannon. This guy seemed very unwell. I had to share these because this gave me quite a giggle reading through these. Also, a nice little reading challenge to try and parse what he was even saying half the time in his messages. That's really about it. See ya. Normally when I cover text messages, it's about really creepy guys doing unhinged things to women through texts or videos, whatever. Today's a little different. This is only like the second time I've covered a story like this, where a guy encountered a woman, and it was very different dynamic of things that happened. However, what I want to talk about here is actually the way that this guy handles the situation, because I actually think it's a masterclass in how to communicate effectively. I'll bring you up to speed on the lore that lead to these text messages. The original poster here on Reddit is a man who has been talking to a woman for a couple of hours, and then he receives these messages. Hi. I've been thinking about you all evening and can't get you out of my mind, handsome. I know it's a little early to say this, but I have such a special feeling about you. And he goes, oh wow, that's really nice of you to say. I appreciate that so much. She says, "You're welcome. While you've been away, I even told my mom and my friends about you. It truly takes a rare kind of guy for me to be able to say those things so quickly about. I feel so lucky and honored that the stars aligned to have us match when we did. You feel too good to be true, and I want you to know that." And he's blushing here like an anime character. Oh gosh, wow. Gee willikers, goodness gracious. That's super nice. Thank you. Out of curiosity, what is it about me that stands out to you? So, again, they have only been talking for a couple hours in total, and she's already basically planning their wedding. She's telling all of her friends, her family about this guy, despite not knowing shit about him. Prior to this, they had only talked about their pets. At least that's what he said, mainly their pets. So this is a lot to take in here. She's basically creating this Hallmark movie out of nothing. Off rip. We only started talking a couple hours ago and only shared a few texts back and forth so far. So I'm honestly just curious what caught your attention about me, because that's very, very sweet of you. This may sound crazy, but call it a sixth sense if you will. I can read people like a book, and I already feel like you, I've known you forever. I don't know if you believe in past lives or not, but if stuff like that exists, I had a weird feeling about 30 minutes ago that we knew each other in a past life, and I have to get to the bottom of where and how. Damn, that's really crazy. It really is, though. Thank you for finding your way to me. And he just goes, haha, you're welcome. When asked what about him exactly drew her to feel so strongly about him so quickly, she says that it was a sixth sense. Basically, it's her superpower. She's one of the Avengers, and she has the ability to find her soulmate after only communicating with them for a couple of hours. She's like a vibe sorceress. She's able to pick up on vibes and figure out who's got the best vibes for her, and falls in love very quickly. Nothing here seems malicious, and in a vacuum, it's pretty sweet messages. But these are messages you'd expect from someone that you are actively dating, or someone you have known for a long time and are progressing to that stage. This isn't something that you would immediately dump on someone's plate after only knowing them for a couple of hours. That's a lot of food to digest there. That's a lot to put in your pipe and smoke here. There's a lot happening way too quickly. I hope you don't think I'm crazy. I don't normally say stuff like this to guys, but there's something different here, almost like spiritual energy. I've been waiting for my soulmate for years and kept getting led astray by the wrong people, and now I think I know why. We have to meet ASAP. I'm so fucking excited to see what out energy in person is like. If it's this intense over text, I can't imagine how incredible IRL our dynamic will be. She's definitely seeing these text messages through a different lens here, because I'm not picking up on any type of electric energy. I'm not getting butterflies in my tummy just reading it. I'm not getting the tingles. This is two very different levels of intensity and excitement. She's out here full of jubilation, like she just won the lottery. Meanwhile, the guy's energy is the same excitement you get over finding an extra chicken nugget in your 8-piece box. Like, it's very different. But he still says, when are you free? I'd love to meet tomorrow, but I have therapy late afternoon and then work at night. So how about the day after? That would probably work. I can let you know for sure by tomorrow at some point. How about I take you to dinner? I would love that. I'm so looking forward to the first meeting in our beautiful story, handsome. Aw, lol. You're so sweet. I have to go to bed now for work tomorrow morning, but let's talk more tomorrow. Absolutely. Sweet dreams, sweetheart, and you'll be in my dreams. He says, sweet dreams. I hope you have a good night's rest. The next morning rolls around and it's a totally different ball game, sports fans. Good morning. How's your morning going? She says, good morning. Fine, and yours? He's the one with a lot of energy now. Great so far. You're hitting him with the Tony the Tiger. Great. Just had a meeting with my boss and got some pretty positive feedback, so I'm pretty happy about that. And she just one-words him. Gotcha. He immediately picks up on the tonal shift here and says, is everything okay, lol? Yeah. Why do you ask? Because you're being more short than you were yesterday, which is fine. I'm just trying to see if you're okay and if you need anything. This guy seems like an actual sweetheart, but this guy seems like a fucking peach. This guy seems legitimately like a nice person. And she goes, I appreciate that. Well, to be honest, I was in my feels this morning when I woke up to no good morning text from you. That's an odd thing to expect from someone who is legitimately still a stranger to you, but even still, he apologizes, saying, oh, I'm sorry, I woke up later and had to rush to work. As soon as I got to work, I had the meeting with my boss and then immediately texted you after the meeting was over. I'm really sorry for the misunderstanding. Yeah, it's cool. I just thought you were perfect for me and then this happens. And he's as confused as every other person on the planet would be.
He says, I'm confused. Did I do something wrong? It's still pretty early in the morning. It's not like I went most or even half of the day without texting you. She then says, love is about prioritizing other person, and you clearly prioritize your job and your boss over me. I'm going to let that ruminate for a moment. I'm going to let you go ahead and marinate in that text for a second, and now we'll proceed. He says, you could have sent a good morning text to me too, you know. Let's just pause there. Love is about prioritizing other person, and you clearly prioritize your job and your boss over me. Yes, as he should. You are a stranger. What do you expect him to do? March in there up to his boss, spit in his face, and be like, I quit. I'm gonna go travel the world with this girl I talked to last night. We're gonna go around the world in a hot air balloon, damn it. And you can't stop me anymore. I don't need this job. I'm out. What an extraordinarily selfish and downright evil thing to ask of a partner, especially one that's not even your partner. This is, again, a mysterious stranger to you. They haven't even met yet. I hopped on Apex Legends on stream the other night and ended up queuing with a random squad mate in 3 consecutive games. I knew more about that motherfucker through him just on the open mic than these two know about each other. And it's not like I'd send him a good morning text. But, like, she's making this huge issue about not receiving a good morning text in a timely enough fashion for her expectations. He still sent a good morning text, mind you, when he didn't need to, since, again, they're not dating and they really don't even know each other at all, but he still sent one. It just wasn't fast enough for her, and that, right now, is a massive problem to her. That is shocking. Why does it automatically have to be me going first? Plus, to be honest, we barely know one another. I don't think it's fair that there are already these expectations. Super reasonable from him. And he's right. If it really is a huge deal to her, she could have been the one to send the good morning text, and then he would have known and been able to respond when he could. She then says, dude, you are the man here. You're supposed to be winning my heart. That's your role. I don't want to chase someone. I deserve someone who will romance me and win me over. Waiting to text me until you get to the office shows your priorities are not what I thought they were. What the fuck? What are you talking about? He's already won your heart over by just existing, it seems like, since you... Oh, I'm farting. Yeah, that's how much I think of that statement. I rest my case. I'll let my asshole do the talking on that one. Not much more needs to be said there. He then responds, I'm sorry, but this is crazy. We are practically strangers and you're already making demands. I do romance whoever I'm pursuing. I'm a very romantic guy. I did text you early this morning, but because it wasn't done exactly the way you think it should be, I'm a bad guy. She then goes on to explain that she doesn't think he's a bad guy, but just doesn't like that he doesn't feel the same way about her as she does to him. She then also explains that the therapist she sees is for her borderline personality disorder, and she explains how that relates to what they've been talking through. And that made a lot of sense when I read that with the way she was acting throughout these text messages. And that is a very real struggle that I always have a lot of sympathy for, and I'm always wishing the best for people going through BPD. It's great that she's trying to get help through therapy, and I'm wishing the absolute best for her with that. What I want to talk about here, though, is how he handles this whole situation. Even before knowing about her BPD, which obviously he didn't since they are completely strangers to each other, he was still being very respectful and communicating effectively. He wasn't being combative or aggressive. He was being a very wholesome individual, and this is just an unfortunate set of circumstances. He responds by saying that he appreciates her sharing her vulnerability, and then says, do you mind if I share something that's bothering me a little bit? And she says, yes, please do. I want to know how you feel so badly. Please open up to me. Well, I'm a little scared that you're already using the word love in regards to us. We are still basically strangers and have been texting for less than 24 hours. And she just says, Kay, should have known you weren't special after all. You're a normie, a basic bitch if you will. Normies don't understand or appreciate love. They will never know what we do. He says, who is we? She says, empaths. I am an empath and feel things more strongly and deeply than regular people, something you clearly don't appreciate and take for granted. One day someone will see my gift and cherish it. He says, I mean, I wanted to take you on a date. If it went well and we were compatible after a while, I was definitely interested in a serious committed relationship, but I do have to meet someone first to know that and hang out a bit first before I make that commitment, which again is a totally understandable thing.
And she says, fuck off, bro. You're disgusting. I can't believe I ever saw something in you. You are not the one. You're just another schmuck in a long string of disappointments. Schmuck is a word I haven't heard since the Stone Ages, and I really appreciate that she dusted it off for this message. Schmuck is something that used to make me giggle every time I heard it when I was a kid. I deserve better. Fuck you. You thought I loved you, but I don't, bitch. Don't ever contact me again. We are over. I never loved you. You lost the best girl. You'll never meet someone like me again because you're a normie who can't see or identify a gym. We are not the same. Love is not a lie. You were. You're the problem. Don't contact me again, basic bitch. You repulse me. Bye, loser. It's actually very sad reading these things. Like, this isn't your normal r/nice guy blow up moment where a dude pretends to be a nice person just to try and get laid, and when he doesn't get pussy out of it, he has a meltdown like, I don't love you, you're fat and ugly, and no one would ever love you. I'm the nicest guy you'll ever meet, and you just blew it with me, the alpha male. Fuck you. Get out of town, scram, swine. Like, this isn't one of those moments. It's not her fault she has BPD. But she's clearly not ready for a real relationship right now. She's going to need to continue to get help. Her having BPD doesn't make this hurt any less for the guy who just received this. He's done nothing wrong. And I actually think he is a great example of how to communicate softly, respectfully, and just being a pretty good example of like how to just be a normal person when interacting with somebody else. He also mentioned that he is still currently receiving text messages from her that continue to get scarier and more extreme, which is unfortunate to hear. It definitely sounds like she needs help with this to come up with more effective ways of dealing with her BPD, and hopefully she finds that help she needs. But I thought this was worth sharing, and yeah, that's really about it. See ya. Hey, it's been a little while since I've gone over some unhinged text messages. I had the itch, so it's time to scratch it. The backstory to this fairy tale isn't your standard affair. This is two strangers that got stuck in an elevator for about an hour. He eventually asked for her number, and she gave it to him because he didn't give her any weird vibes, no heebie-jeebies. It wasn't like something out of that dog shit horror movie Devil with the elevator or anything. So they started talking through text, and it led to this alarming exchange. He said, "How are you doing today?" She says, "I'm good, thanks, just went for an early morning swim." And then he starts to show his hand a bit. "I'd love to see that. Can I tell you something?" And she's getting suspicious. She's a little on edge here. Yeah. I admit, I was nervous being confined to such a small space with a beautiful woman. And she goes, "Okay, I don't know what to say to that, lol." And he just continues like it's a war story. I feel like I can see him lighting up a cigar as he's saying these things. "The mind wanders. You're lucky you got trapped with a good guy." And she's confused, saying, "What does that even mean?" He was apparently super normal in the elevator, but now over text he's talking like he was Bruce Banner holding back the Hulk in that situation. Saying shit like the mind starts to wander with ellipses there just makes it sound like he was, stranded on an island, ran out of food, and was contemplating cannibalizing the other survivors there to keep himself alive, and he's like writing down the sailor's log. It's too much for me to bear right now. My mind, it starts to wander. I'm losing myself on this island. I'm going to slit the throat of the former captain and feed on his insides. Lord help us all. He continues, "Don't worry. I don't intend on harming you in any way." Which is a very reassuring thing to hear out of the blue. Listen, ma'am, I'm not approaching you with violent intent. I want to make that clear right now. I know you may have had it in your head that I was going to kill you. I want to put your mind at ease. I was never even contemplating murder. Or rape, for that matter. I was simply explaining that any warm-blooded male would be tested in that situation. Dude's trying to explain this like he's John Madden here. Appreciate the breakdown though, Reddit mod. Any warm-blooded male would be tested in that situation? What do you think would have happened? Like, the elevator malfunctions, you're stuck in there for a little bit, and what, he's just gonna turn into some kind of feral beast that's gonna be tearing her limb from limb like a wild animal? Just the instant the elevator stops moving, just something goes awry in the male brain, and they turn into the Tasmanian devil, making like Jujutsu Kaisen cursed spirit sounds as they charge at the woman that's stuck in there with them.
But luckily, she was trapped in there with a good guy. Not like those other red-blooded males or cold-blooded male. What do you say? Hemoglobin-blooded males? What? I've already fucking forgot. But he's just being chivalrous here and reminding her how lucky she was, all the stars aligned, to put her in the perfect position to be stuck on an elevator with a stranger that's as gentle and as nice as this guy, who had no intentions of harming her in any way whatsoever. She hits him with some question marks going, I'm not following, because I mean this is all reading like a threat at the moment, and he says, don't worry, which is cause for concern, definitely going to start worrying. He says, you have the perfect body, those small breasts and soft, thick thighs leading to that voluptuous ass are delightful. Thank you for existing. Thank you for your service of pleasing my eyes in that elevator, madame. I tip my fedora to you on this good day. And she just says, and now I shall cease to exist in your life. See ya. That was the correct decision there, just to block them and hopefully never see them again in your life. That's probably the safest thing to do, because this whole thing makes it sound like he was considering rape or something and then decided against it, how he had to, like, fight against that urge that other warm-blooded males would have succumbed to or something. It's fucking weird. This guy is a weirdo. And here's another weirdo in a similar fashion where it's a complete stranger that just goes fucking insano style out of nowhere on someone else that is also still a stranger. These two are co-workers, they've been working together for about a week, and they play online games together in like a group with other co-workers. So they're not like friends or anything, they have barely known each other. He texts her saying, Kaylee, we care about you. Care. Please answer. I'm so sorry. Please talk to me. Now, I want to be clear, this is one person saying this, so I don't know why he's saying, we care about you. This is like some Schmeagol shit with my precious. You know, we got Gollum coming in right now. And she says, it's okay. I'm not mad. And he goes, please just talk to me. I cared about you. Still do. And she says, thanks. You too, dude. He continues to spiral. Why are you acting like that? I'm here for you. No matter what. Can we just talk on the phone? Just you and me? He's throwing up the desperate full court shot here to try and get the buzzer beater to win the game. I don't know what he would expect here. Obviously, she's not going to take that call. You don't know each other, and you're already being, like, obsessive. That was never in the cards. But let's assume she did. What were you planning on saying to her? Yes, milady, thank you so much for accepting my call. I love you. When can we fuck? Honestly, you're creeping me out. I've known you for 1 day at most. Stop. If that's how you see it, then fine. I really cared. I mean, that's how the world sees it. Like that's how time works. Like, you haven't known each other for long at all. It's like there's only one way of seeing it, and it's that you guys don't know each other at all. You're acting like we're best friends, and I've only known you for what, a week? This is extremely weird behavior that I won't deal with. It's okay. I'll find someone redacted. At least she's nice to me. Which is another one of their co-workers that he's now mentioning. Also, the poster here said that she mentioned to that co-worker that he name-dropped there about his weird behavior just to keep her in the loop, because this guy seems fucking unwell. And she replies, nah, what are you talking about? I was never interested in you. Okay, fair. She was way better. Nice, at least. I was so nice to you, and was even open to us. Which I don't really know what that means. Like, what does he, like, trauma dump on her while they're playing games together in ARAM? Like, I don't know. What does that mean? Open to us? Or, like, maybe he was open to being us, like a unit? A relationship, perhaps? Man, that's generous. He was even open to dating her. Wow, he really was such a fucking gentle sir. I can least admit that I cared at one point. I don't want to fucking fight. Neither does she. She doesn't want to talk to you. Like, in general. He's just making it sound like they're already in a relationship going through a problem, even though they are complete strangers to one another. I'm telling you to leave me alone, so leave me alone. And he just keeps saying, I cared about you, dude, like, seriously. Everyone can tell you cared. You are obsessed. You are legitimately enamored with a complete stranger and being creepy about it. Everyone knows that's not something that's a good thing to be saying so much here. I will go to blank and report you. I don't fucking know you. I cared. It's weird pretending to be strangers, but honestly, fuck you. They can fire me. I have a better job for $26 an hour. That's how all of these go. You know what? I don't care. I never liked you anyway. You were gross and yucky anyway. You were poopy. You stink. Big stink. I don't like you anyway. You were lucky I was ever even talking to you. They can fire me. I have a better job anyway at 26 an hour in fucking Narnia. My other job's so much better. Let them fire me. Tell them. Get me in trouble. I actually want it, so I can go to my other job full time and leave you behind. I'm happier there anyway. I cared. My only crime was I cared. I love how he says it's weird pretending to be strangers when they are strangers. She's not pretending. Like, that's just the reality of the situation. Not like the delusional thing that he's married himself to in his mind. They are strangers. But yeah, anyway, just wanted to talk about these because they had me giggling a little bit today. That's really about it. So yeah. Hello and welcome back to Weirdos in the Wild. The best way to start your morning is with a big frown on your face, so get ready to wear that with pride. We've got some really interesting specimen here today, so let's go ahead and take a peek at our first one. Our first journey begins with a cold call here like a telemarketer. This guy reaches out saying, "Hey, remember me?" And get used to seeing me spelled that way, because he only speaks about himself as if he's talking through the We Me channel from back in the day. And she responds by saying, "Hey, I think so," from blank, which is middle school. So they knew each other in middle school, and I'm assuming it's been quite some time since then, because then a couple months later he reaches out again saying, "Hey, you have kids yet?" It's already off to an odd start. They're clearly in their adult years here, and this guy's thinking about her from middle school, and then reaches out a couple months after making initial contact just to ask if she has kids currently. And it only gets more strange from here. She responds saying, "Hey, I don't have kids yet, why do you ask?" He goes, "Just asking, you have a boyfriend?" "I do have a boyfriend. Do you have a girlfriend? Can I tell you something?" And that's how you know this is about to go straight into the shitter here. That question, "Can I tell you something?" always seems to precede the most foul thing you'll ever hear in your life. I've read so many of these texts and watched so many bad romance videos recently that this is one of the more concerning questions you could be asked. Can I tell you something? Or some variation of it. I'll also just never understand the purpose of typing something like that. Just fucking spit it out. Say it with your whole chest here. What's the point in acting like some kind of shy anime girl? "Oh, can I tell you something?" Like, what's the response going to be to that? No? You've made it impossible for someone to shoot that down because then the conversation immediately gets hostile. So everyone has to say, like, "Yeah, I guess you can tell me something." So just do it. Rip the band-aid off. You're going to say something ridiculous anyway. Just say it without asking for permission, because we all know you're just going to fucking blabber about it anyway. She says, "Yeah, what's up?" However, even if she declines saying, "No, you can't tell me anything, leave me alone, bozo," it wouldn't have stopped this maniac. He goes, "No grill frimmed." So I believe he has entered this, like, flow state of horniness, and it's clouding his vision, so he can't type properly. "When we was in middle school, I wanted, period, to do this to you." And accidentally drops, like, a fucking hyperlink here. Do what? Like, "When you were in skirt, I want to make you mine. Hope you don't get mad." What an outrageous creep. "Hey, was just thinking about you in middle school, and how in middle school I wanted to make you mine. Don't get mad at me. Tee-hee." Clearly caught off guard and uncomfortable, she goes, "Oh, it was a long time ago, no reason to get mad." And I think this emboldens him because she says, "There's no reason to get mad." So he starts rubbing his hands together. Oh, okay. And then he sends a message that he deletes. He unsends it. So there was something so bad there that even this shameless sack of cringe was like, "Ooh, no, that's too far. I'm using my mulligan." So he unsends it. But the original poster here, she apparently saw it and said that the message he unsent was saying that he wanted to pull down her panties and put his fingers inside of her. And then he goes, "If I were to do this to you, what, you let me?" The way he talks is so frustrating. It's so broken and disjointed. It's like communicating with Dobby if Dobby was hitting whippets. Clearly, she declined such a generous offer, saying, "No, I have a boyfriend." I mean, back in middle school,
I wasn't interested in dating or sexual activity when I was in middle school. I wanted you really bad. Oh, okay. Gets him with the Eeyore really sad. Oh, okay. This is the craziest red flag conversation ever. This should be like a self-report straight to the authorities. This man is like dangerous, it seems. Perhaps that hyperlink he accidentally dropped in the beginning was a link to the sex offenders registry with his name and face on it. This is an adult man who's fantasizing about middle school. He's not even saying like, hey, I used to know you back then and had a crush on you. He is literally fantasizing about her in middle school and him wanting to finger her. That's concerning. And that's when all hell breaks loose. The mask fully comes off, the dam breaks, and he unleashes the demon. She says, I'm a bit confused as to why you're telling me this now, because obviously anyone would be confused getting this shit out of the blue. It's really creepy. And then he goes, 'cause dear. Oh, it's already such an awful fucking start. Dropping dear like this, it gives me the heebie-jeebies. In those days, I want to pull down your panties. Not even a little bit, dear. Or excuse me, not even a little bite, dear. You there, lol? Can I ask you a personal question? When you were in middle school, you there? He is so fixated on middle school in particular. That's the big thing for him here. And he keeps talking about pulling her panties down. It's so unhinged. You there? He keeps checking to make sure there's a pulse here, that she hasn't abandoned him and called the police or something. Can I tell you something that I want to do to you in middle school? Or you mad at me, Lou, lol. If you didn't have a boyfriend, you let me do things to you? You there? Surprisingly, she was still there and hadn't blocked him yet. So she says, no, because I'm not interested, I don't really know you at all. Somehow, she was able to resist his charm. I can't believe Casanova's silver tongue here was powerless against her. He says, I know, lol. Also, it's a bit weird that you're talking about a 12 to 13-year-old me and still being sexual about it. Exactly. It's so fucking weird. And then he just goes, hope you not mad at me for this things. And she says, please don't contact me again. The vibe I get from this guy is Freaky Fred from Courage the Cowardly Dog. Just reading what he keeps saying to her is so unnerving because he's talking about a middle school version of her. He's trying out that sexual predator riz here, I guess, and it did not work at all. I'm gonna bless you with a little bonus one here. Let me show you how not to flirt with someone you're interested in romantically. So it seems like they were talking a little bit before these screenshots were taken. He says, you play video games? Like, other than Candy Crush and Pokemon. And she goes, yep, what gave it away? Cool. Not many chicks that are, like, into real games. This is just your classic flop from a Redditor gamer, bro. Ugh, girls only like Candy Crush or Pokemon, fucking Sims or Barbie Jeep Racing. They don't like real games like me, a fucking man. Call of Duty, Battlefield, BioShock, big rigs over the road racing, Madden 24. But you're different, m'lady. You're not one of those normal chicks that likes those fake games. You can appreciate these gyms that I like. Most chicks can't do that. I don't know why. Must be periods and pheromones or something, but you are rare, m'lady. You like real games. Like, I just don't know why anyone would try something like this. It's just immediately confrontational. It makes you look like a whack loser. And everyone knows it too, so she calls that out saying, really? Gonna try that one? Because it's so pathetic. And he goes, what? It was a compliment. And she just says, whatever. And then that really sets him off. So, a guy who you are already desired to be intimate with gives you a compliment, you get bitchy? And then he doesn't get a response, obviously. And then it comes back later saying, are you ignoring me now? She said, you live in a different country than me. But the fact that he immediately just gets this out of control, like, what? It was a compliment. What? Most girls are stupid. Girls go to Jupiter to get more stupider. You didn't go to Jupiter. You stayed here with me, playing real games. Why are you getting so bitchy about it? I was being nice to you. Oh my goodness, nice guys never win. And now you're ignoring me? Oh God. He also just types like a Redditor. Like, his response being, why? A guy who you already desired to be intimate with shows you a little affection and gives you a little compliment, and you get bitchy? Like, that is the actual quintessential Redditor response right there. Just go full Poindexter on it. A man who you had already desired to be intimate with gives you a compliment. Then the whole conversation goes cattywampus and he decides to bring out the claws and just get mean. You're a fucking cosplay girl. It's not like it's real work. You get paid to be hot for people. And then she just goes, yeah, it's not gonna work. Don't text me back. Goodbye. Totally reasonable response. This guy's just immediately shitting on her for nothing she did wrong. She's done nothing wrong at all. This guy's just a loose cannon. Women like you are always so sensitive. I'm just being honest about things. If you can't handle that, I don't think you intellectually compatible with me. Oh, all the Reddit check marks are being ticked right now. I'm very sorry that you feel like I was being mean or sexist or whatever, but I wasn't. I hope you learn to be less bitchy. Men don't like that in women. And you're already past your good years. And they say chivalry is dead. That's how you do it, gentlemen. Excellent work here, and I have no doubt they're getting married soon. So he blames her for everything that went wrong. He seems to think she was being unreasonable and that he was just being honest, which is crazy. It's so sad how a conversation can go from seemingly normal to just being extremely combative because this guy is very insecure, I guess, about his video game taste or something. I have no idea. But he brings up video games in a hostile manner, saying like, oh, most girls don't play real games, but I guess you're not like most stupid girls. Like, I don't know why he can't see how no one would ever respond positively to that. And when she didn't respond positively to it, he immediately says that she's being bitchy. Just the slightest sign of her not really feeling what you just said there, and he just gets aggressive, and then gets even more mean and rude and nasty, and then still probably walks away from this thinking it was her fault. It's craziness. So he'll probably stay alone for most of his life, but luckily he's got so many great games to play by himself. So there's a silver lining there. At least he's a real gamer with those real games by his side. That's really about it. So yeah. Over the last couple of months, I've analyzed more text messages than the FBI. I have been glued to bad romance and flirting like a moth to a flame. I've been wandering the deepest, darkest pits of filth. It's like in Space Jam when Michael Jordan gets sucked into the golfing hole. I've been sucked into the asshole of the internet, and all I see is cringe down here. But today, there's a new ingredient being added to this concoction. The recipe had a chemical X. Crime. This got posted to Reddit earlier today, and a lot of people sent it my way, and it actually reminded me of a real criminal case that happened back in 2022, and I actually found the case again through the comment section of this post, because I couldn't quite recall all the particulars of it, but there is a lot of similarity shared between that criminal case in 2022 and these text messages that this individual is showcasing here. So it starts with this girl's coworker messaging her out of the blue saying, hey. He receives crickets, no response, silence. And you know what they say, if at first you don't succeed, try being weirder. So he comes back around within 3 hours saying, hello, is this blank? She says, who is this? And he goes, it's me, with a smiley face. I just wanted to text you and see how things were. Oh, things are going alright, I suppose. Not to come off as rude, but how did you get my number, dude? I mean, I don't mind you texting me, but I've never gave it to you. And that's when he lifts up the curtain and breaks the magician's code, revealing his secret method. I just grabbed it off the contact sheet in the office room. Hope that's alright. To which she says nothing in response because that is fucking creepy. She never gave him her number. He just went out of his way to find it from their workplace. Yucky. But he comes back around saying, how's it going? And he just keeps going, throwing questions at the wind here, hoping to receive even the slightest semblance of life on the other side, not realizing that he has already scared her by snooping around tracking down her phone number without ever getting it from her directly. So it's already super creepy to do that. So he says, how was your New Year's? No response. 2 days later. Sorry to keep texting, but what are you up to today? If you're free later, I'd love to go out. I will never understand that kind of shit right there. How can you be so deluded and lost in your own little fantasy land Narnia that you think there's even an iota of a chance that she agrees to go out with you when she has ignored your messages for 4 fucking days? Like,
What is the thought process? Scratching at his chin. Maybe she's playing hard to get. Perhaps she's just been truly swamped and has been really wanting to reply to me, but just might be a bit shy and doesn't know how. I know. I'll go ahead and invite her out with me. That should make her a lot more comfortable. And he goes a bit deeper. I know you're probably busy, but I could pick you up too, so you wouldn't have to take the bus anywhere. If you wanted to go out, that is. Sorry to keep texting, but I don't want to be out too late, so I'd appreciate a response at some point, Smiley. I'm heading out to get coffee now, so if you want to join me, just let me know. Ma'am, you better hurry. The choo-choo train is leaving and Mr. Perfect is going with it. You only have one opportunity to get coffee with a gentle sir like this, so you really gotta play your cards right. She declines, saying, I would appreciate it if you didn't text me unless it's work-related. I don't really know you, and I'm only blank. You're 5 years older than me, dude. This just feels creepy. I didn't mean to be creepy or anything. You're just pretty, and I thought it would be cool if we got to hang out, Smiley. No thanks. That's honestly so weird, and if you continue to ask, I'm going to talk to Lean about this. I'm assuming that's like their supervisor or someone higher up at the place they work. And then he goes in deep. He says, I'm not gonna lie. I've been thinking about you a lot, and I just want you to spend time with me. What you said the other day just felt rude. At least try and give this a chance. I know you're probably not awake, but I've been up all night thinking about you. Not going to lie, sometimes I like to take pictures of your ass while you're in the drive-thru window and I jerk off to them in the bathroom. I'll go ahead and take a courtesy pause here to give everyone a brief respite and let that nugget marinate in this sauce here because he just dropped a real heavy, spicy meatball on the plate. And when I first read it, I certainly wasn't ready for that because that's just openly admitting to a crime. I'm not a sheriff or anything, but I'm pretty confident that that's illegal. He'd probably be taken away in handcuffs if this information got out, which it should. She should absolutely report all of this. Now, somehow it actually only gets worse from here. This is just the beginning. He's showing his true face, and man oh man, is it an extraordinarily ugly one. I know that's messed up, but imagine if we fucked in the work bathroom, or if we went out in public. I honestly just love the idea of having a little helpless bitch under my control. I know you're so much younger, but you should give it a shot. Older men can be so much fun to be with. No one at work would have to know. Hello? Sorry for calling, but I'm really lonely and you haven't replied to me at all. Since the text messages are going unanswered, I guess he's resorted to actually just calling her, which is also being ignored, obviously, because that's the safest thing you can do is ignore it. So I can't believe the revelation that it turns out he's lonely. Who would have seen that coming? With smooth talking like this dude's got all the game in the world. This man's a fucking apex predator, a grizzly bear, a champion of Riz here. I can't believe that he, of all people, would somehow be lonely. What a curveball. He then tries to brush all that under the rug, trying to apologize for it. Sorry about last night. I got carried away. I know you're probably not even reading these, but I hope you have a good day, Smiley. I'll be thinking of you. I really don't see an issue. It's not like a romantic date or anything. It would just be getting coffee and food. And if you were in the mood, we could always go to my place to watch a movie. I know it sounds creepy, but why not just get out and enjoy the day together? What in the hell is even that? What are you talking about? It's not like a romantic thing or anything. You were just talking about fucking in the workplace bathroom. And then you were talking about having a helpless bitch under your control. What do you mean it's just coffee? You're already showing how extraordinarily creepy and perverse you are. What are you yapping about? He's blabbermouthing about a bunch of hooey. And that's when she finally does respond to all this and says, alright man, I'm probably going to report you to the police. You know damn well that I'm underage and you're texting me in the middle of the night like that. Fuck off. And then he drops her address and says, if you continue to ignore me, I'll just make it so you can't. If you tell anyone, I'll make this even worse for you. So it turns out she's underage, and he was well aware of that fact. And he also would have been even more aware of that fact, considering he snooped through the confidential workplace documents to find her address and her phone number. So it would have been abundantly clear that she is underage, and he didn't care. He still went for this full throttle. So he's also a pedophile on top of all of this. Now, he concludes their conversation by dropping her address to obviously try and scare her, letting her know that he knows where she lives and he can always pay her a visit. And a lot of people in the comments, and I think a lot of people in general, would assume that that's just supposed to be like some kind of scare tactic to get her to not say anything. Not necessarily that he's going over there right this instant to do something, but that is still a legitimate threat, and I imagine an actionable threat that the authorities can use. This is one of those situations that really shouldn't be taken lightly, and it seems like it isn't. It seems like she's taken the proper measures here, like contacting authorities or contacting workplace staff and all that, which is what she should be doing, because this is just legitimately dangerous. I mentioned at the start that it reminded me of a case from 2022 where a man killed his 17-year-old coworker because he had a huge crush on her, and since he couldn't have her, nobody could. Her name was Riley Whitelaw, and she was murdered at her place of work by this individual. He recently got sentenced in October of 2023 for the murder, and it is just horrifying. Now, Riley had previously made a complaint to the employment about how uncomfortable he made her with like the advances that he would make on her and all of that, and even asked to like have her schedule changed so they wouldn't have to work together. And despite all of that, they still worked together. The place of employment did not change her schedule around to get her away from him or anything like that. They continued to work together despite all of her complaints until it eventually culminated with him killing her. It's a tragic story. Fucking horrifying. And it reminds me of the text messages we just read right there, where a coworker becomes infatuated with someone and then eventually does something disgusting like that. So reading through these text messages, it is a concerning individual in a scary situation. And it's something I think about from time to time about how awful it must be to just be doing your job, doing nothing wrong at all, and then still ending up in a situation like this. This girl never made any advances toward this guy. She never even gave him her number or anything at all. And yet somehow he still became obsessed with her and then stalked her company documents to find her phone number and her address and all of that. It's just so awful. She's literally just doing her job and then gets put in a situation like this because of this absolute lunatic. So yeah, just wanted to talk about it a little bit. I think situations like these should always be taken seriously. Like if a coworker or anyone for that matter starts to get like a level of obsession with you that it becomes a bit palpable, that you can start to see it, it immediately needs to be something that you take very seriously because you never know where it could lead. And I think that is just always something that needs to be handled with real care. So just wanted to go over this a little bit. That's really it. So yeah. It's been a while since I've gone over diabolical texts, and today I've got a doozy for you. It's a maniac melting down over mayonnaise, blowing a gasket, going ballistic at his girlfriend because he believes that she has tampered with his mayonnaise, and even goes as far as to lightly accuse her of trying to poison him through this new state of matter that he found the mayonnaise in. He's a 46-year-old gentle sir, tip the fedora, who's a big mayonnaise enthusiast that really thinks he stumbled across a grand conspiracy here that his girlfriend is at the helm of. We begin our journey into madness. He says, "Funny how all the Hellmans is liquid state. Ideas?" This is clearly confusing to her because it reads like a fucking riddle. She says, "What? What does that mean?" "Lived on my own since '96. Never seen that. 2 separate bottles." I love the way he says that, lived on my own since '96. That's like some shit you'd hear from like some washed up loser who's like, "Yeah, as you know, I was the quarterback that led my high school football squad to the state championship in '98. Go Warthogs. I could have been pro if it wasn't for that damn case of athlete's foot." She then asks, "Are you talking about mayo?" Which he responds saying, "Bravo. What a fucking douchebag. This guy is turbo dweeb." And then she says, "So we went all day not fighting and you're ending the night fighting over mayo. Okay." That's a pretty sad message because it sounds like they fight all the time. He then gets his monocle out and begins his interrogation, connecting the pieces of this puzzle like it's fucking LA Noire. "Super weird you disappeared when you dude. And both of them melted in the fridge. I have samples." This man's got the beakers out and he's mixing chemicals, testing the viscosity and the compounds within the mayo. She then reminds him that she doesn't eat mayonnaise and then asks what melted. And he just says, "Inver seen anything like it, going to bed." What in the world are you talking about? Great question. Try to answer tomorrow. Weirdo is speaking in riddles. The timeline is all cattywampus, so he's saying that it's odd she disappeared at some point. I don't know what he even meant by that. He said that she disappeared when dude. I don't know what that means. So I'm guessing he thinks that when she wasn't like in the room with him, she must have been contaminating the mayonnaise and liquefying it for some reason. What an unhinged theory from a dangerously stupid goober. I wonder if he also goes to the fridge and freaks out when he sees that his expired milk is a little chunky. Does he accuse his girlfriend of foul play then too? Like, you harlot! You chunkified my milk! These are cyanide crystals in here! You want me dead! Like, how can he be 46 years old and not understand that mayonnaise is an emulsification of oils and egg, and sometimes that shit can just separate?
Mental break, I guess you're having. Nothing you're saying makes sense. First mayo, now something about melting? How's this? I use Hellman's mayo regularly, as you know. I know the viscosity. Oh, what is this guy? The fucking mayor of mayonnaise? This guy a mayonnaise sorcerer? A wizard? He understands it inside and out? He's like a spokesperson for Hellman's. He's like advertising the shit out of this product. Both containers are literally liquid. Nothing else has melted in the fridge. And she says, and I did this? He says, I didn't. And she replies with a gif just calling him crazy. Which he is. He is crazy. She didn't do it. You didn't do it. It's something that happens to mayonnaise. You've been living on your own since 96, boofing mayonnaise for fucking 46 years, and you don't understand that mayonnaise can separate. I feel like even if someone explained this to him, he would just disregard it because he chooses not to believe it. He would rather believe that his girlfriend is trying to kill him through liquefying his mayonnaise. It's scary that people can end up at a point like this guy. Does he also go outside and shake his fist whenever the wind blows because he doesn't understand who's making the wind blow? I'd been planking leftovers for late dinner all night before tomorrow starts a new week. Then mayo came out like soy sauce. That's a first. Then the other container did it. Never seen that in my life. Even when mayo is left out. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. He's got the magnifying glass out and he's looking at the footprints and he's starting to piece together what's happening. And then she says, and you're blaming me. I don't even eat mayo. Case in point. And I'm crazy. I don't even know what case in point he's talking about. Like, exactly. You don't eat mayo. Checkmate. She then wants just like full clarification on what he actually thinks is going on. So she says, what is it exactly you think I did? And he disregards that, just saying I'm going to sleep. Hey, Buster, don't forget to check under your bed for the boogeyman that's sabotaging your mayonnaise. Melted mayo. Sabotage your mayo. Wow. Good night. He says, do yourself a favor. Open trash can and look. Tell me it's normal. Just look at both containers. I don't even need to open your trash can. It's normal. She didn't liquefy your mayonnaise, man. It wasn't, pumped full of, plutonium or something to take you out. That happens to mayonnaise. And then here's where it gets real spicy. He says, thus far you haven't been able to poison me. Moron's been watching too much Game of Thrones. He thinks that everyone's out to get him. You're mental. We watch the same shows, which tells me he actually just can't separate reality from fiction. But I would love to know what show has a character poison another through watery mayonnaise. She says, save those bottles and go get them examined, lol, and your brain while you're at it. And he says, well, they are in the trash. Feel free to investigate. 100% he should double fist those Hellmans and take them to a forensic lab to get them checked. He should absolutely do that, and I guarantee, even when it comes back totally normal, no contaminants, he would still disregard it and say that they're lying, it's all a big conspiracy, they're working with his girlfriend to take him out. He then says, tell me if the consistency makes sense. Holy shit, this guy. So she says, so I tried poisoning you. What the hell is wrong with you, dude? I haven't touched your mayo or anyone's mayo, not even touched store mayo. How is it different from last night? What happened last night? I made a sandwich with mayo. Oh no, the smoking gun! Just last night, the mayo was the perfect viscosity, and then today, it's ruined. There's only one explanation. It must have been poisoned by my girlfriend. I realize how odd this is, but I've never seen anything like this. He's making it sound like some kind of crazy scientific discovery, like he just discovered fucking an alien spacecraft that crash landed in his backyard. I've never seen anything of this sort on this planet. It doesn't compute. Mayo doesn't just do this, and you randomly started being calm and cordial this morning, unprompted after weeks and weeks of deliberately being impossible. I threw it all out. This guy sounds like such an asshole. An actual unhinged, delusional, dumb, turbo idiot asshole. Like, Mayo does do that. Like, it is well known for doing that. It doesn't happen all the time, but it does happen. It's well documented. And he's talking about it like this is some one-of-a-kind phenomenon, and the only logical explanation is that it must have been poisoned. And she just says, "You are nuts," which he is. He then says, "It spreads a certain way, unless somehow that has changed. But it would have been within the last 24 hours. It was like it had melted." She just says, "Dude. Yeah, dude. You know I use mayo on sandwiches. This was like a melted mayo spread. Never seen anything like it. From both bottles." And then she's just like, "Okay, then we'll take the bottles tomorrow, have somewhere examine them, and you can come put them somewhere safe." Put his mayo in a vault, a refrigerated vault. "You can find them in trash can. Please feel free to examine them and prove me wrong. I know it sounds weird going to bed. It's weird as fuck and mental. It's just oddly mean. Good night, dude." I don't know why he keeps challenging her to prove him wrong. It would only take one quick Google search to figure out why his mayonnaise has ended up in that state, and it has nothing to do with his girlfriend tampering with it to make an attempt on his life. What a bizarre lunatic, making a huge hubbub about mayonnaise, and then accusing his girlfriend of trying to kill him. That's craziness. I got a little parasocial here trying to learn more about this guy. I got so curious to learn more about him, and she had made a couple other posts about him. The other ones are just really sad. I'm not going to get into it, but there's nothing I learned more about him except that he is a big asshole that is very unstable, and she should absolutely leave him as soon as possible. ASAP. So anyway, I just had to talk about this a little bit. It was a wild read. That's it. See ya.